Look at you. You always did.
Hey, what's happening, Wandering Marine? So good morning, guys. It is it's about 11 o'clock here, Chicago time. I know it's I'm waiting on RJ. I know it's still early by him. He's a couple hours behind us. I think it's only like 9 there. So I figure we hop on here, and unfortunately, I don't have a lot to talk about. Most of the conversation today was about RJ, but I figure we'll stay on here a few minutes. I don't know if he maybe overslept or is getting the kids off to school or something. So we're just gonna hang out and see if he hops on here in a minute. But yeah, let me know. I think we got a few people in here. Let me know if you guys want to talk about merch or any business news, e-com news that you guys want to chat about. Let's see here. Just kind of scrolling through Reddit here, seeing if we got any interesting topics. I saw Google Plus is shutting down in I think April. I don't know if anyone actually uses Google Plus. I never really got that one. Let's see what else we got. Hey, Sala, about merch. What do you want to talk about merch? What's going on with your merch account right now? I was actually really excited to get RJ on here just because I've been kind of slacking on merch. I think I told you guys I had some kind of false takedowns back in, I don't know, November or Marcel. I don't think RJ has a girlfriend. I don't know if he does. I thought I'd seen like a daughter or something in some of his pictures, unless that's his niece or something like that. Maybe I'm mistaken. But yeah, I had some false takedowns. There's kind of a problem with Amazon merch, and it's something about kind of how it's structured. I mean, a lot of you guys probably know about this if you follow some of the forums and things like that. But essentially, like whereas like Redbubble doesn't approve your designs, everything just goes up. I think like legal wise, because because Amazon has to approve our designs, and maybe it has something to do with the structure of the print on demand. But from what I understand, the way that Amazon's structured, they're kind of the seller of record. So if somebody makes a copyright complaint or something like that, they're just going to take it down right away. Whereas on some other platforms, you actually have a chance to respond and things like that. So I had somebody, all my own designs, either done by myself or my designer, nothing trademark, copyright infringing, and had about like 15 designs come down in one day and started freaking out. So I figured somebody it was a niche that I had all to myself. And I noticed a couple competitors started coming in. So I'm assuming it was a competitor kind of trying to take my spots. One of my designs had something like 21 reviews, 23 reviews. I was really kind of dominating search. Like 90% of the shirts in this niche were mine. And so I think somebody was coming after me. And unfortunately, Amazon makes it, the way it's structured, it makes it easy enough that literally you or I could set up a throwaway Yahoo email account, send an email into Amazon merch, or even go on merch and fill out that form and essentially say, yeah, these 10 designs are mine. And, it's weird. Some people have legitimate gripes about wanting to get other people's shirts taken down, and they can't get it done. And then some people, just create a throwaway email account, send a couple emails into Amazon, and next thing you know, shirts are getting taken down. So I had like 15 come down in one day. I thought for sure the account was going to get suspended. And so wound up just kind of proactively, unfortunately, taking down like 200 to 300 of my own designs. And I was probably not diversified enough. Like vast majority of my sales were coming from this one particular niche. So that kind of really hurt me on merch, really kind of killed the sales numbers. Had a pretty good November and December despite that. I can only imagine what the numbers would have been, if I had all my good designs up and everything. And after that happened, I got a little bit discouraged. I also was kind of like, I was putting a lot of time into Amazon merch. And I'm like, if it's that easy for someone to knock you off, almost I kind of got a little bit discouraged. I was like, what's the point of spending all this time on Amazon? Because when I do get another shirt to the top, which I spend a lot of time, doing, sometimes ordering my own shirts, sometimes I'm investing money in doing that. And, you do that and the shirts wind up, somebody can just get it taken down that easy. It was kind of frustrating. So I've been spending a little bit more time on Redbubble lately. You know, on Amazon merch, I had like 4,000 designs, and out of those 4,000 designs, I was making about, you know, anywhere from 900 to 1,100 per month. On Redbubble, I only had like 56 designs up or something like that, and it's not huge money, but that was bringing in, I don't know, maybe I think most recently maybe 180 bucks a month. So I was like, okay, you know, I can only imagine if I had these 4,000 designs on Redbubble. You know, I think, you know, that could be a promising platform. And then they just recently bought, what is it, Spreadshirt or something like that. So, you know, I figure kind of, you know, having access to that huge pool of buyers and sellers, as well as all the distribution and everything, I think those two platforms are going to be good ones to get on. For me, I'm new. So Sala says I'm new to merch. I'm 25 tier. New to get 25. I'm waiting. So I guess you're waiting to get tiered up. You know what you got going for you that's pretty good. You know, back when, you know, probably 2015, 2016, probably even up until last year. Hey, Truth, thanks for stopping in. Up until the past year, you know, merch was, if you wanted to get out of tier 10, you had to sell 10 shirts. If you wanted to get out of tier 25, you had to sell 25 shirts. And they've really kind of loosened that up. So, you know, at this point, like I hear some people, they sell 2-3 shirts and they're out of tier 10 to tier 25. You know, they sell 4 shirts, 7 shirts, they're out of 25 to 50, up to 100. So it's a lot quicker to tier up. I know it's a lot more competitive. There's a lot more people on merch, a lot more designs up on merch. With everybody tiering up, there's, you know, that many more designs. It's easy to kind of get lost in the flood of shirts and things like that. But you know, it's also easier for you to tier up. So one of my things early on was kind of buying some of my own shirts. You know, if it's in your budget to do so, and if you like some of your designs and it's something that you wouldn't mind wearing, you know, I'm a huge proponent of that, because it's just too hard to, you know, starting from scratch, you upload a new shirt, it's got like no sales rank. You know, it's just, it's a long road to kind of get up to, you know, those higher tiers. And I think I was watching one of RJ's videos the other day, and I really agree with this. He said, you know, don't even think about starting to make money until you're at tier 500. You know, up until that point, it's really just all about tiering up and trying to get sales. So whether that means pricing your t-shirts low or whatever else, you know, I think that's the way to go. So do I put my prices as low as it appears? LOL. Do I put all my prices as low as? So, you know, I forget. They just recently raised the base price. So what it was, if we sold a t-shirt for $19.95 or $19.99, we got $5.38. And it seems like it's become a yearly thing. At least it has for the past 2 years, which is they keep kind of cutting our commission. So, and every time they cut the commission on t-shirts, which is like the main thing that sells, they up us a little bit on, I think it's sweatshirts or hoodies or something like that. So yes, let's see. I make something for friends to buy. I think that's a great one, making something for friends to buy. I know, who was it? I think it's Young of Merch Mind was trying to do the local merch for a while. So he was trying to go around to local businesses. You know, he was going, I think one of his stories, he went around to a place where I think he drops his dog off, like a doggy daycare type place, and offered the guy, you know, hey, would you be open to doing some shirts? You know, I could do them print on demand. We get a couple to put in the shop. And I think he got a little bit frustrated. I think the guy kind of took his idea and took all kind of the consulting that he gave him and ran off and just wound up doing it on his own, which is somewhat understandable. You know, the margins on print on demand aren't great, especially if you're trying to make a cut on top of somebody else. But that's how I kind of buy a lot of my shirts. You know, if I can buy a shirt for somebody for a birthday present or Christmas present, or you know, even just for no reason, for a gift. I was my girlfriend's whole family has probably, each of them probably have like 3 to 5 shirts of mine, and I got a big family, so that's a lot of shirts. Let's see. I'm gonna hit up RJ one more time, and then I saw Chris, the thrift shop hustler. I know sometimes he's available during the day, so maybe I'll reach out to him and see if he might be willing to join us here. Let's hit up RJ here. Let's see. I heard the rumor that Amazon is back at tiering up to 100 after 25 sales again. You know what? I've been on merch since like probably 2016, I think. So things were a lot different back then. Like I think at one point, I think when I started on tier 10. I think later on down the road, they starting everybody at tier 25. So 25 was kind of the baseline. And I think they may have gone back to tier 10. I have seen there's been a lot of talk about tiering up lately. Back at tiering up to 25 sales again. Oh, okay. I think I see what you're saying, Mr. Sevenify. I think you're saying they're back to you actually have to sell the amount of shirts to get out of the tier. See, do you sell on Etsy? Yeah, Truth. You know, I have a couple Etsy stores. Something I've wrestled with, and I'd love to hear kind of your guys' thoughts on this. But something I've wrestled with is on Etsy whether it's good to create multiple niche stores or whether it's okay to have kind of more of a general store. So I mean, just for example, if I have like a camping kind of Etsy themed store. You know, should I start mixing in cat shirts and llama shirts with that, or should I keep that specifically for camping? I kind of like to keep my stuff kind of segregated and separated. Same on like Redbubble and platforms like that. Like on Redbubble, I do have one kind of general store where I just kind of test out a lot of different ideas and things like that. But you know, normally if I'm going to do different niches, I'll set up one for each one. Because one of the kind of cool things about Redbubble, you know, it's not quite as great as having your own website, but they do offer you some freedom and flexibility in terms of branding. So, you know, you kind of got your header, you got your store name, you can kind of lay out things in a certain way. So I think it's kind of nice to have some niche stores and things like that. I added something on my wall. This is one of my favorite shirts. It says, you know, it's weird. Webcams are strange. You know, I was on here earlier using Screencast-O-Matic and everything was showing the correct direction, and then it flipped. But it says I always carry a little pot with me and a little leprechaun. It's kind of a St. Patrick's Day shirt. That's one of my favorite ones. I'm on tier 100 with 12 sales. So Casey's saying she's on he or she is on tier 100 with 12 sales. So you know that kind of goes to show you at one point to be on tier 100 you would have needed to sell 50 shirts, and now it's you know 12 shirts gets you up there. So I definitely think there's something to be said for buying some of your own shirts and kind of getting those tiers up, because you know, if you only got 10 shirts, you only got 25 shirts. You know, you can either have 10 shirts in one niche or you can hit 10 different niches. But once you start getting up to 100, 500, 1,000, you know, you got more shirts up there, more chances to sell. Let's see, Wandering Marine. I make my states travel a road trip instead of planes, trains, and buses. I live on the East Coast and will go to the West Coast regardless. It will be happening in days. So Wandering Marine was chiming in. He's got a YouTube channel of his own. I was watching one of his videos the other day. He was down in Mexico at I think Mexico City at a place where I think would they have like 6-foot-long burritos or something like that. Wandering, and it's actually kind of funny. I was watching your video because me and my girlfriend, some friends were planning some potential trips for the summer, and Mexico City. I think we're going to be doing Mexico City in March, or at least that was the plan. And I'm not even sure what this is, but she's got on the board a Casa Azul tour. I think that might be like Frida Kahlo's house or something like that. I'm not really sure. The Get Down got accepted to merch the other day. That's awesome. Get Down. How long did it take you? I've had a couple people reach out to me recently and say that, like, you know, 3 days and they got on. You know any meetup groups in Chicago related to Amazon selling? So PD, actually, yes. Technically not Chicago, it's Elk Grove Village. But if you go on meetup.com, and I think it's entrepreneurship or Amazon, look that up. But there's a girl who hosts a meetup. It's every Saturday morning. I think sometimes it's at a Starbucks, sometimes it's at, I don't know if it's like a banquet hall or library or something like that. But it's a great meetup. It's the girl, there's a backpack called the Neat Pack. And I don't want to get up and have to leave you. I think I got it in my closet, but it's kind of just a sling over the shoulder Neat Pack. It's one of the more popular backpacks on Amazon, which, you know, backpacks and stuff is kind of somewhat of a saturated, or at least a competitive niche. And she's actually the creator of the Neat Pack. And what's really kind of cool, I don't know if you guys know Ryan Daniel Moran. He just recently had the Capcom conference, awesome conference. I think last year they had Gary Vee, Jesse Itzler, who I'm a huge fan of. They get some big names out there. And I don't know exactly what happened or kind of what their relationship is, but Ryan Daniel Moran kind of does kind of like a Shark Tank kind of thing where he'll kind of help people launch some businesses, and I think sometimes even fund businesses. And so he actually paired up with this girl and kind of, I don't know if it was through a contest or something, but he actually helped her launch the Neat Pack. I think he may have even backed it financially, kind of helped her with the launch and everything. And she's actually who runs that meetup. So, you know, the person running the meetup is actually not only a real Amazon seller, but somebody who's actually having success doing it. And she's kind of got a tie-in to Ryan Moran as well. So I thought that was pretty nice. That is, I want to say, if it's not every Saturday morning, it's like the first Saturday of the month, but I think it might be every Saturday morning. And then PD, when I went to Ecom Chicago, I forget the name of their organization, but the people who put on the Ecom Chicago event, they actually have a meetup every, I think it's the first Tuesday of the month. And that's also in Elk Grove Village. It's right by the hotel where they had Ecom Chicago. And they're big on, there's plenty of Amazon sellers, you know, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people over there are into everything. But I would say there is kind of a little bit of a slant towards eBay, a lot of eBay sellers. But they do a meetup at, I think it's like Walker's Steakhouse or something like that. I guess they give them discounts on meals. They all get together for a big dinner and kind of talk business, talk Amazon, talk eBay. So that's another one. That's in Elk Grove Village. And I believe pretty much all of these are on meetup.com. For anyone who doesn't go on meetup.com, check it out. You know, there's some good meetups, actually some really good meetups on there. You kind of get around other people. Last year, I was really into going to a lot of crypto meetups, you know, met a lot of people in the crypto space. You know, and people there, you know, when you get out and kind of get face to face with people, people are really willing to kind of help you out. One guy was going to come over to my house and help me set up a mining rig. But, you know, when you meet people in person, you kind of really build those relationships. And I see a lot of people kind of looking to, you know, either for co-founders or mentors or really just to kind of get around and connect with other people into the same things that they are. So it's a great place to do that. And if anyone has any interest in real estate, or you specifically, PD, since you're kind of in the area, there's another meetup. I think it's called Northwest Indiana Investors. That's one I was going to recently going to start checking out here in the near future. And they're kind of like a real estate wholesaler, but they got a lot of good deals on properties and stuff. I think they have like, you know, 180 people at their meetups or something like that. 5 days. So for anyone who's not on merch yet, now might be a good time to apply. Somebody had just emailed me this morning, said they were brought on in 3 days, and it looks like Get Down to the Gym was on in 5 days. How are you dealing with the polar vortex? Where are you at, Truth? I forget if you're in Chicago, or for some reason I want to say maybe you're in Atlanta or something like that. But you know, I was outside this morning. It was 9 degrees this morning, and it felt warm, which is crazy because probably last week or maybe a week and a half ago, I remember it was 19 degrees. I remember me and my girlfriend were getting in the car to go somewhere, and I was like, man, it is freezing. And today I was out there. It felt like spring at 9 degrees. But yeah, it's been crazy. 2 days ago, it was I think minus 24. With the wind chill like minus 48. Metro stopped running, which is the train that kind of runs, you know, in Chicago we have DL, but that's kind of the train that runs from the city to the kind of near suburbs and things like that. That was shut down, which never happens. And I heard something like 1,500 flights were canceled. The de-icing stuff was freezing on contact. And also post office, I know they always say we deliver rain, sleet, and snow. And even post office shut down for 2 days. So that was kind of crazy. Has caused a little bit of headaches for e-commerce people. Where's my package at? My thing hasn't shipped. Wandering Marine, I have a lady in Mexico. We have been together a long time, and I speak Spanish, as you know. Are you fluent in Spanish, Wandering? I've been meaning to learn Spanish. My girlfriend's family's Mexican, and you know, they have family down in Aguas Calientes. You know, we've always kind of talked about going down there, but it definitely helps to know Spanish. As far as merch goes, one thing I was kind of really looking forward to talking to RJ about is I know he kind of jokes about, you know, tacos and stuff a lot, and I think he makes a lot of kind of Spanish shirts, a lot of kind of like anti-Trump and, you know, build tacos not a wall type stuff. And that's actually a niche that I've had quite a bit of success with as well, is kind of like the Spanish niche. I feel like you know, if you have like an ethnic background, if you're in a community with kind of a different ethnicity or even a different language, I think that's kind of one area that probably most people don't venture into, that you might be able to kind of separate yourself. Obviously, there's not going to be as many buyers who are, Spanish speaking or Polish speaking or Russian speaking or whatever else. But the people who do speak those languages and are on Amazon, you're going to be one of the few people who are selling shirts in that niche. And it was kind of funny. I got back from Aruba back in October, November. And I kind of picked up, when you travel to a new place, there's little like phrases and slang. And so I started putting up a couple of Aruba themed T-shirts and some of the kind of the words that they use and things like that. And they have an interesting language. I think it's called Papiamento, which is kind of a mix between like Dutch, maybe some African languages and Spanish. And they have like certain little phrases and things like that. So I kind of took some of those home with me, made some shirts, and some of those have been selling decently well. Never designed a shirt before, but I am a photographer and use that as my background in applying. So let's see, who is that? That was... Okay, so get down to the gym. Let me know what your plans are. I'd be curious to know what your plans are for photography on T-shirts. So one thing that, I really like photography as well. And the one thing that's kind of a struggle with photography is a lot of people don't like T-shirts with big blocks. I'm sitting here wearing a T-shirt with a big block on it. But when it comes to photos, a lot of people don't like blocks on T-shirts. So something I've thought about doing was taking a photo and then taking one element from the photo and removing the background so that you just have like an image of whether it be an eagle or a cactus or whatever else, and that's kind of the only image on the shirt. So that could be one way to go. The other thing with Amazon doesn't offer it, but Printful offers the all-over prints. And with the all-over prints, you can have an image over the entire T-shirt. And I think photography does work for that because it's not, restricted to a block. So I've seen some cool like tank tops where the entire tank top is a print that's kind of a landscape and things like that. So that could be one idea. See, Wandering Marine, a show of ingenuity. My current favorite tea brand, Mel Leaf. They have a channel. They use a camera backpack as a foundation to design a tea transport backpack and can safely hold ceramics, etc. Hiking. That's actually really clever. I've seen some kind of cool like camping or like picnic backpacks. But yeah, that is kind of ingenuitive, kind of taking an existing product and kind of turning it into something else. If any of you guys didn't catch the live stream with Keenan QHD yesterday, he's actually over in China. He's been living over there for 4 years, teaching English. He said the area that he lives in is known for glass. And I know one of the products that he was doing on Amazon was glass straws. But we were talking to him yesterday, and it sounds like every area is known for something. So like Shenzhen is like electronics, and another area might be like textiles, clothing, backpacks, kind of like cloth stuff. Another area might be, glass or whatever else. But his area is glass. I'm sure there's probably other factories in his area, and he could probably travel to some other areas. But one thing that was kind of cool a while back, he had kind of offered, we've been buddies for a while, and he said, if you're looking to source any products, he said, let me know. He speaks Chinese, so he said, I can reach out to the manufacturer for you. I can test the quality before you order a big sample. He probably has a better rapport with them, and that's something that he had kind of offered to do for some of you guys, and I told him that'd be kind of a good business to start. There was one time I was importing some products from Alibaba, and it was, I think, not my first order, but my second order with the supplier. There was a little bit of a misunderstanding, even though I sent over like numerous pictures. I thought I was crystal clear. But I wound up getting, I think the entire order was 7,000, so maybe half the order was incorrect, but sent me the incorrect order. So, having kind of boots on the ground, making sure you avoid those kind of language barriers, even if you charge like $100 or something for the service, could potentially save you a lot of money. Let's see here. I did a business meetup in Sofia. I've been to hundreds of meetups, literally. Yeah, I think the meetups are awesome. One thing I've been wanting to hit up a lot of the conferences. And it's something I wanted to talk to RJ about as well. I know he goes to a lot of those. But Ecom Chicago, it was really kind of my first major conference. I really wanted to go to Capcom, but I got a couple other trips planned and got the dog, so couldn't really get away. But I've been wanting to hit up more conferences. But for anybody who's kind of interested in finding a mentor, finding a partner, finding somebody to trade skills with, meetups are an awesome way to do that. Most meetups are free. A couple meetups charge, but it's more normally like $3, $5, or you may have to buy a soda at a restaurant if they have a restaurant or something like that that's allowing them to hold it there. But yeah, most meetups are free. Some of them are at somebody's like neighborhood clubhouse in their subdivision. Other ones are are at the library or co-working space. But yeah, meetups are awesome. Okay, Truth Too Much is in Florida. I'm jealous. Polar vortex was horrible. In Iowa, it was wind chill -55. That's nuts. I heard in parts of Minnesota it was like -70. My buddy Jackknife Finnegan's up in Minnesota, although it didn't seem like it got that cold by him. I know he was doing the throwing boiling water outside and watching it turn to snow. And I actually did that yesterday. I don't think I posted it to YouTube. I think I posted it to Instagram. Chris, man, what part of Iowa are you in? I heard kind of an interesting fact the other day, and I never knew this. I heard Des Moines, Iowa, is the fastest growing state or fastest growing city in the country. And we always hear about how Denver is like growing so fast. And my folks were living down in Charleston, South Carolina, and their real estate prices have like quadrupled in the past like 5 years. I was actually kind of pretty seriously looking at moving down there. But I heard Iowa was hot, and I was kind of looking. I got one rental property. That's something I was looking to get a little bit more involved with, which is why I just recently kind of started talking to that Northwest Indiana Investments. But Iowa's been kind of on my radar. It seems like houses out there are still pretty affordable. I hear it's a pretty kind of cool city. Maybe some craft breweries and decent nightlife scene and things like that. Has anyone used Merch Locker yet? Casey, what's is Merch Locker one of those programs that like stores all your designs for you? That's actually, I guess while we're going, I'll address, there was I got a comment on Instagram earlier. So Cosmic Owl 95 had asked, this may be a silly question. I'm on tier 500. I was wondering how both of you organize your shirts and descriptions for each one. Do you categorize them? Do you use Excel? I'm gonna need some organization. So that's actually one area that I kind of fall short in. A lot of people will save all their designs. So every design they've ever made, they have in a file. And a lot of people will even save, the titles, tags, and descriptions as well. And that way, I guess if anything gets taken down, or if you want to open up another account, or if you want to start moving across other platforms, you have all that data and can just kind of copy and paste, or can outsource that to a VA. And that's one area that I'm really weak. Very few of my designs do I save. I have a couple of like niches that I go into really strong, and I may have like a series of 50 to 100 shirts, and I do save those. But I mean, outside of that, if I'm just sitting down cranking out like, okay, I'm going to do 10 baseball shirts, 10 football shirts, 10 llama shirts, 10 pickle shirts. If I'm actually just kind of sitting down, just kind of cranking out stuff, and it's not necessarily a niche that I plan to continue to go into, a lot of times I don't save my designs. Like once I get a couple hundred files in my my download box, I just delete it all. That's something I could probably be better about. And I think there's Merch Locker. I think Merch Informer may have some add-on service that you can do to store a lot of those. One kind of cool thing, if you're looking for something just kind of free and easy to do, if I'm not mistaken, because one of the things about Amazon Merch is once I upload a design to Amazon Merch, at least to my knowledge, there's not an easy way to download those images to basically use that as kind of a place to store your images. However, Printful, I'm almost positive Printful will let you download images that you have on there. So recently I had a t-shirt on Printful, and I think I deleted the original image from my computer. And I was able to go into Printful and download that. So that could be, if you're putting your designs up on Printful already, in a sense, you could save them there, but there probably are better ways to do that using like a Google spreadsheet or something like that. See, I studied in Guatemala. It's ultra cheap for private. I got one of the best teachers in Guatemala for about $3.16 an hour. That's awesome. I'd like to do some more traveling down to like Central and South America. We're looking at maybe going to Costa Rica, but I also wanted to go down to Nicaragua. My cousin was like a Spanish major in college and has always been really into that. So I think she lived in Argentina for a year. She might have lived in Guatemala for a while. I know she lived in Nicaragua for a year, Costa Rica for a year. But I got easily hold of the conversation. It's nothing technical. I'm going to more advanced. Now, PD says his girlfriend's from Guatemala. My girlfriend's cousin was just down in Peru. She was down in Peru for 6 months or a year, and we had planned on kind of trying to visit her down there, and didn't really wind up coming together. But yeah, she loved it down there. Mexico City in Spanish is abbreviated the old way, DFMX. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Yeah, you make me think of that. What's that movie with There's that funny movie with the guy from Hangover, where they're sales guys in Cedar Rapids. I think the movie's called Cedar Rapids. That was a decent one. Harlem Real Estate Stories. Hi, first time on the chat. I want to create and sell theme shirts. Where should I start? I looked up Redbubble. So Harlem, man, depends on what you're looking to do. I think Amazon Merch is probably the best platform. Obviously, they have the most shoppers, but Amazon Merch, they got the tiers. So initially, you're only going to be able to upload 10 shirts, and I think it's only 1 shirt per day. So I'd go apply to Amazon Merch right now. You probably get on, and it sounds like we're here in about 3 to 5 days. It is going to be slow going. You're only going to be able to do 1 t-shirt a day, and after 10 days, you're pretty much stuck until some t-shirts sell. So I get on a couple platforms, and I'd love to hear from you guys in terms of like what platforms are worthwhile for you. For me, Amazon Merch is by far the best one. Redbubble's a close second. It's hard for me to say that other platforms aren't good because I don't put nearly as much effort into some of the other platforms, but I do have a couple niches where I specifically made the effort to not only saturate merch and Redbubble, but then go over and upload all those designs to Teespring and Spreadshirt and Society6 and Designs by Humans and even like Zazzle and Cafe Press. One kind of funny thing, let me know if anyone's had any success with Zazzle or Cafe Press, man. Both those platforms are, it's kind of funny. They were kind of the ones to, in my opinion, kind of invent print on demand. Like I think one or the other, Cafe Press has been around since like 98, Zazzle since like 2001 or something like that. But they were kind of the first ones to do print on demand, and they've kind of been lost. Nobody really thinks about them when they think print on demand. Now it's all about Amazon Merch and Redbubble, but they were kind of the initial ones. But for me, like Amazon Merch is by far the best earner. Redbubble is the second best. And I got a couple different stores where I maybe got 40 to 60 designs on each, so not a ton, but Society6 I think sent me $19 the other day. Spreadshirt I think was like 47. Teespring maybe a couple bucks. So it's not a ton, but if you can kind of start building out into different niches, and so what I'll do is I'm trying to look around and see if I have anything here that's okay. So we got like an up north Michigan hat. So if I want to make a series of like northern Michigan shirts or something like that, I'll design like a whole series of shirts, maybe 50 to 100. I'll put them on merch. Then I'll go over and set up a Redbubble account just for that niche, set up the theme of my store, upload them all there. Then go over to, Spreadshirt, then go over to Society6, and kind of go down the line. But yeah, I think Redbubble and merch would be a good place to start. Redbubble, really no restrictions. And then merch, you can kind of start building that up. If you want to do Etsy or a Shopify store down the line, you could do that as well. And one kind of cool thing, for any of you guys who want to start Shopify stores but don't want to pay the $29 a month, if you become a Shopify partner, you'll be able to create development stores. And a development store, it's kind of on the back end of your dashboard in your essentially affiliate account or partner account. And you can create stores for free, and that store is free until you get 50 designs. So what's really cool about that, I have one shop. I knew about the development stores, but for whatever reason, I opened a paid store. So I have one store that I've been paying $29 a month for since last June. And it really hasn't made me very much money. Best case scenario, maybe break even. But if you're wanting to like try a bunch of different things, $29 for each store winds up adding up pretty quickly. So if you sign up as a Shopify partner, you can do development stores. It's free until you get 50 sales. So by the time you get 50 sales, you should have made enough to pay for the next 6 months or year of Shopify for that store. And at that point, you've kind of proven the concept. So I'd recommend everybody doing that. Go become a Shopify partner if you want to kind of start playing around with those stores. And if you're not a Shopify partner, or if you just don't feel like joining, let me know. I'd be happy to create a store for you, and I can send it over to you. I don't think that affects. I think it can still stay free even though I send it over to you. So I'd be happy to kind of just whip up. If I got the time, I'd be happy to throw together a little template for you. But at the very least, I can literally just get the store name, send the store over to you, and you got a free store to work with until you got 50 sales. Let's see, PD, that is awesome. If you're serious about the language, Zella, not Antigua. Zella is cheaper and get a cheap apartment or homestay. Monthly expenses around 1K. So what Wandering Marine and PD are talking about is pretty cool. The whole location independence thing. There's a lot of people who You know, and in the States, if you're making $1,500 a month off print on demand or e-commerce store, consulting, YouTube, something like that, you'd probably never be able to live. There are very few places you'd be able to live off of that. But for anyone who's not kind of aware of the whole like digital nomad, location independent thing, a lot of people will, you know, move to Southeast Asia, move to Nicaragua, move to a country with a cheaper cost of living. And it kind of allows you to live very cheaply, live very affordably while you build your business, and you're not going to need a side job. Whereas, you know, back in the States, you'd probably have to have a full-time job or at least a part-time job or do something to kind of supplement that income. So it's one of the things that Keenan QHD said. You know, he said his cost of living in China is super cheap. So he said it's a great place to. I think RJ might be hopping on here. Okay, I think we had a misunderstanding with time. I think he thought, I'm always worried that that's going to happen. You know, we're always in different time zones. When I was talking to Keenan QHD the other day, I was asking him, I'm like, what time is it by you right now? And I said, it's 6 by me. He was like, it's 8 in the morning by me. So I was like, okay, cool. We'll do it at, you know, I don't know, I forget what I said. We'll do it at 11 my time. And he's like, dude, that's like 3 in the morning for me. So I was worried we were going to have kind of a miscommunication. Okay, so I think RJ is on his way home, so he should be joining us in a little bit here. 10 minutes. Okay, so he should be back with us in about 10 minutes here. So we can kind of keep chatting until he gets back. Okay, cool, no problem. Let's see here. Be warned, be careful. Let's see, catch up on chat here. First time in chat, I want to create a theme. So, okay, we covered that. PD is awesome language. Des Moines, much bigger than Cedar Rapids. Cost of living is very low and a lot of growth there. Yeah, I've been hearing it's a cool city. I want to say it's probably not more than 4 or 5 hours from me. You know, we go to, I'm confusing myself. I was going to say Shawnee. Shawnee's down south. We go to, my girlfriend's brother likes Galena, Illinois. And so we go out there, and that's pretty close to Iowa. And there's a pretty cool ski hill out there. So we're going to go, we did that last year. We're going to go skiing out there. Jackknife Finnegan, what's up, brother? You know, a little bit of a miscommunication on start time. I said 11, and I think I maybe wasn't clear enough about the time difference. RJ's out in California. So he should be on here. He said he's driving home right now. He should be joining us in about 10 minutes here. If you do private, the schools cost nearly go direct. Thanks for the tips. Marine veteran may have to do Antigua. Family owns a hotel there, so could cut cost of living. I visited with the most popular places there for 2.5 months. Be warned, be careful in Guatemala. It's authentically dangerous if you do not follow the basic safety rules. Wake. Marcel said, wake up, RJ. I think he might have been out running around. He said he's driving home right now, so he should be hopping on here in a few. I should have just told me. He could have done it. Actually, you know, some people don't like to drive and do things, but a lot of people do these live streams from their cell phone. I think Jackknife, if I'm not mistaken, was on his cell phone the other day. And yesterday, I believe Keenan was on his cell phone. He was traveling in Taiwan. Be very careful with your cell phone in Mexico City. The only time I ever had something stolen when traveling was there. My girlfriend just got held up at gunpoint for her phone at a traffic light. You know what's kind of crazy, man? In Chicago, this is nuts. You know those Canadian Goose jackets? Those, like, I think they start at probably $700 or $800. You know, you pay, you know, $1,000, I think even $2,000 for one of these jackets. These Canadian Goose jackets, people are getting robbed on the street of them. I think if you hop on YouTube or even like World Star or something like that, you'll see videos of someone will be walking down the street, a car will pull up next to them, people will hop out and steal people's jackets off them. My girlfriend's got hold of gunpoint for her phone, traffic on PD, maybe switch plenty places and learn. Hey, Helen, thanks for joining us, Helen. Yeah, RJ should be joining us here shortly. No tourist prices in Zella. Zella is probably the cheapest place to study Spanish. $5 a day, that's good. What are some cities in Guatemala to stay away from? rjhustles@gmail. Okay, let me make sure I get this link over here. Okay, so just sending that link over there. Let's see, we've got a few more minutes to kill. See if there's any other kind of good e-com news or anything going on today. Because this is a Shopify post. Shopify is hiring a new wave of Ontario-based support staff, if anyone's interesting. So that's kind of interesting. So Shopify, something I've been hearing about them recently is a lot of these So Shopify has mostly remote workers, and they don't hire people in the U.S. as far as I know. It's really only Canada. And remote work's a topic I've been meaning to kind of cover on here a little bit and talk about a little bit. But as far as Shopify goes, you know, the Shopify support reps, they're there and their job is to help you with Shopify tasks. So like, why isn't my template showing up? Why is this? And I've been hearing a lot of disgruntled Shopify reps saying that like Shopify basically now wants them to be business coaches, and they have no, you know, most of them have no experience in business. But because Shopify is kind of pushing this whole like drop shipping, yeah, I mean, I think RJ thought it was 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm always worried there's going to be misunderstandings there. As I was saying earlier, yesterday, Keenan QHD, who lives in China, he's actually traveling in Taiwan. And when I threw out a time for him, he was like, "Man, that's like 3 in the morning by me." So I'm always worried there's going to be a miscommunication there. Some cities, I think I'm making some Shopify apps. Is there any apps you think would be useful? Hey, Edgar. So, you know, the idea of Shopify apps, I've always thought that would be a really interesting moneymaker. You know, you can, and that's actually, I was talking earlier about becoming a Shopify partner and being able to create development stores either for yourself or for clients. And so if you want to create your own Shopify apps or your own Shopify themes, that's actually the account that you would sign up for to do that. I think there would be good money in that. There's a lot of themes there's a lot of apps and features that I think are kind of lacking. And one of them, I'll give you an example. With my business, we sold very high ticket items. So our minimum sales price, not minimum, probably my average ticket price was about $568. So credit card fraud and things like that was a big issue. So I would only ship to the customer's billing address. Now, Shopify does have a default feature where you can default it to ship to their billing address, but if they click a button, they still can have a shipping address and a billing address. So something that I would like to see, and something that I think you could probably build an app to do, would be only allow items to ship to a billing address. Now, that's going to be somewhat of a niche market because, you know, depending on what you sell, if I was a florist, you know, very few people are ordering flowers for themselves. So you're almost always going to have a different shipping and billing address. I realize a lot of people want to have packages shipped to their post office box, their workplace, something like that. But if you have problems with credit card chargebacks, if you're selling high ticket items, that's something useful. And I think there's definitely a market for that. So that's something I might look into. There was another cool app I saw a while back called Callback Raven. Now, what Callback Raven was, it was a feature where a lot of people don't want to have an 800 number because they work a 9-to-5 job, and it's almost kind of pointless having an 800 number if nobody picks it up. So Callback Raven is a button that you can press, and somebody can drop their phone number in a quick message and basically say, "I want to call back." In the grand scheme of things, is it that different than somebody emailing you? Not really, but it's, you know, a little bit. I think it kind of makes it a little bit easier for people to kind of request you get in contact with them. As far as Shopify themes, I'm not really into coding and stuff like that. I believe Shopify themes are built on like a coding language called Liquid. And I guess just for example, one Shopify theme that I think might be useful would be Shopify themes for single product stores. There's a free Shopify theme that's kind of meant for Kickstarter campaigns. And that one can be used for single shop stores, but I think there's a lot of people out there who have a store with one product or maybe 3 products, and there's not a whole lot of choice out there for themes. I might be rolling out a single product store. It's kind of this might be kind of interesting to some of you guys. Is I contacted a company who's actually like makes a very popular apparel product, and I happen to see something on their website that they didn't call it private labeling, but they'll do basically custom branding. So I'm trying to think of a way to kind of say this without kind of giving away the product. But let's say that, like, you know, there's a company called like Wolverine Gloves. Like Wolverine Gloves will make their gloves and allow me to put my name on them. So I recently connected with a company who made kind of a cool product, and was willing to kind of make a line for me, minimum order quantity at 12. I'm still waiting to hear back on the pricing, so not sure how competitive that's going to be. But that was one example of like a single product store that I was thinking about rolling out. Any advice on cooking from a car? I would get a portable stove or something to keep cold the cheap way. I have a cooler, but I would need something that can hold cold a while. So it seems like now we're venturing into kind of the van dwelling world. You guys are, that's something that I'm actually kind of interested in as well. Earlier this summer, I've always been kind of really interested in kind of the tiny house living, tiny home movement, all that kind of stuff. I thought like living in an RV would be kind of cool to go travel and do for a year. So actually earlier this summer, I found it was like a 89 or a 91, I don't remember what kind of van it was, but like big conversion van. It had already been semi-converted into a camper. And I was maybe thinking about doing something like that. But I have 2 dogs. I don't know that me and my 2 dogs would be comfortable in the car. And my girlfriend told me that I can't have a beard and long hair and look like a creep and also drive a rape van. So she wasn't really on board with it. But I thought that'd be fun to do. But check out, you know, there's a great subreddit called r/van dwelling. That might be interesting to you Wandering Marine and PD. And they share a lot of tips. You know, people will post their build outs, post their vans, you know, what cooler they like, what heating they like, whether it be the little buddy. What's happening, RJ?
1 second. Yo, what's going on? So
it's happening, but you know, I'm always worried about that happening. I'm always worried about, you know, there's always time differences. So I'm always worried about that. So I apologize if I didn't communicate that well.
No, because I was looking at it. I have it written down right here. I think it said 1 your time, 11 my time. So and then I look at the message. I could have sworn I said that, but no, that's cool. That's whatever.
Okay, cool.
I took my pre-workout. I was out the way to the gym. I'm ready now. What's up?
You know what? I started taking one of those recently, man. I feel crazy. Like I take those things, man. My head's tingling. Like got tingles running down my arms. I feel like a crazy person when I take that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. It just gets you going in the morning. And I was just gonna go do cardio today. Trying to, like, I don't know. I think I'm coming down like a little cold like the last couple of days. So I was like, well, you know what? Let me go sweat it out real fast and see what happens.
So we'll kind of kick this off. So joining me today, guys, we got RJ Martinez, doing very, very well, killing it on Amazon merch. He's got a great YouTube channel where he talks about Amazon merch and really kind of a lot of different hustles, and has a series called Real Talk, and I've been catching up on some of those. That's an awesome series. The other day he had, I forget the gentleman's name, but I know his last name was Guest, but kind of sharing some tips on affiliate marketing and branding and blogging and websites, and it was just killer info, like big picture stuff as well as kind of more kind of small tactic stuff. So I got RJ's website and YouTube channel in the description box below, so definitely go give him a sub. I know he's getting ready to hit 10Ks here soon, and his channel's kind of exploding. So yeah, go give him a sub, and thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, no problem. Let me go ahead and just give everybody like a background on me. So I started the way I started Amazon merch. Of course, we all go through that little trial and error with Amazon FBA. A lot of people still do it. Like I started doing that, and I was doing a lot of shoes. Right. I learned there's a little couple tricks that I learned. And I told a few people about doing like buying gift cards on your cell phone. You buy on the raise.com. You buy gift cards. And then what you do is you go to Marshalls and stuff like that. Use like your tax exempt and stuff, and you buy like a lot of shoes. And I started doing that, and next thing you know, I was purchasing like some days I'll purchase over 100 shoes a day, and then I was shipping it into Amazon, and I was like, dude, this is like. And then my buddy's like, dude, it's like you might as well like kind of like either you better outsource, like, you know what I mean, you better hire someone to do this for you, or you better find something else, because this is like taking up a lot of your time. You're working like 15 hours a day. This is more than when you had a job. And he's like, what are you trying to do here? And I was trying to figure it out. He's like, you know, I don't even know, man. And then I started messing around with that Shopify a little bit, and then I actually started trying to sell shirts. I'm just messing around, you know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm trying to promote through Facebook, trying to sell shirts. You know, let me try putting them up on merch by Amazon. Might as well just put these designs up there. And it was a St. Patrick's Day design that I threw up, the first one, and it sold like it sold right away. It sold like 7 designs, like literally the next day. Okay, now this is there's a difference now because there's so much competition now. It's a little bit more harder. So what I did was I threw it up there, made 7 sales. Like, wow, okay. Then I was like, this is pretty interesting right here. So I was like, pay attention to this right here. So then I hit Cinco de Mayo, that holiday, or whatever you want to call it, the trend, and I hit it pretty hard, and I actually did really well. I have a screenshot from, I think it was like May 1st or something, or April, end of April. The last 7 days I was up to like 1,100 with like 1,100 in royalties, 300 items sold, or products sold, and I only had 300 live or 500 live listings at the time, and it was doing really well. So that's how it all started, and then I just started taking off. And that first year, with merch by Amazon, I made about I got the 1099 or whatever it was. I got it, and it was like 28,000. So it took me about 6 months to do 28,000, 28K on there with that, and that was pretty big. And I was like, wow, this is pretty good. So then I started, you know what I mean? I started making YouTube videos, started making content. People started following me, started liking me. Yeah, and then I just started venturing off into like doing Etsy now, and do Redbubble, do Spreadshirt, do like a little bit of everything. Now, like, of course, now I'm growing and stuff, a little bit of affiliate marketing. But I put out so much content that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even see like an affiliate link being slipped in there, you know? Because I provide so much value, you know what I mean? Like, I do a lot for my community and stuff like that. And that could just kind of I'll hit them with all kinds of free content, and they won't even know that, okay, here comes that 7th video. You know what I mean? Here comes that 7th video. Here comes the link, you know? So they don't even know that. By the time that they watch that 5th video, they already be making profit, you know? So it's like kind of in a way they're like, $10 won't hurt, $20 won't hurt. You know what I mean? So like, it's pretty cool, and just building a relationship with them like that, because they know that I'm not out there trying to get them in a way. So that's where I'm at right now. With merch by Amazon, it's a little bit more competition. So a lot of people are going in there right now and not seeing so much success. But then there's some people that are actually seeing some really good success. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's how it all started right there. And now I'm just I got like a little plan down and everything, and I try to accomplish goals every single day. And yeah.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. You and I have, I think you and I might have a lot in common. We're both doing YouTube. We're both doing merch, and watching your videos. We share a common love, and I think that's a common love of tacos. I noticed that's kind of a recurring theme. So I got a shirt that I wore for you today. My my elote. But that's been we were kind of talking about that a little bit earlier. That's been a pretty good niche for me. My girlfriend's family owns a big Western wear store in Chicago. So that's kind of a niche that I've been kind of turned on to. And so we're kind of talking about doing different languages and maybe finding niches that might not have as many buyers, but are much less kind of saturated with sellers and things like that. So that's kind of an interesting angle. Couple questions for you. One is, whenever I see you on live, I always know it's you from that backdrop. What is that behind you?
Just it's like some graffiti, I guess, like in an alley. Like there's like a little pink thing right here somewhere over here. I don't know. It's over here. It's way over here. That's another thing too. I first started off, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna just start. I need a backdrop because I can't be just showing the back of the garage. And I started making more content on YouTube. I was like, let me get a backdrop. But the crazy thing is though, like I got a lot of subscribers just showing all the boxes in the back. And at first I was like, you know, I thought about it. I was like, I was doing it on Amazon FBA. Like they know that I have a lot of boxes in the back. And like from like returns and stuff. But now it just, I got more subscribers from that. And I was like, it's just because I'm probably just being real, I guess. And they respect it, I guess. But yeah, just, I don't know, just something. I actually been wanting to create something new, just kind of just with my own branding and stuff for Instagram and website now, and just kind of market myself a little bit better, you know?
You know what's kind of funny about that? Probably back in, I don't know, maybe 2016 or something like that, I was big into the hoverboards. And so me and my partner, we had a small office. You know, our office was probably only 500-600 square feet, but we'd have as many as like 300 hoverboards coming in. Each box is, you know, 3 by 1 by 1. And it got to a point where there was like literally one little walkway, and yeah, I was making a couple videos where I was just, you know, floor to ceiling boxes, and I think that kind of does help with the growth that people see that you're actually kind of doing what you say, and that's kind of one really kind of cool thing about your channel. You're kind of one of the few merch sellers who actually shows some of your designs, which is something I rarely do. So yeah, I think you're one of the only guys that does that, which is kind of really cool, because you can tell people elements of a good design, but if somebody is looking for someone else who kind of has success doing this, they kind of want to visualize like what type of content are they putting out, what type of design. So that's kind of one of the really unique things about you and your channel.
Yeah, a lot of people they're very. I understand why. I respect it, because, you know, like once I started doing that, like you got people that would come in here like just copy your design pixel for pixel, you know. But so I respect people that actually don't do that. I understand. But at the same time, I'm just like, you know what, like I'll find another design that will do really well for me. So like I'm all about like being creative and just kind of staying with the market. I actually had a really good Groundhog Day shirt, dude. This shirt was it was amazing, man. I was like actually like one of my favorite shirts, and the way I came across it, because another thing too, like I learned a lot about over the last year and a half. I learned a lot about design. You know, at first, like I'll be honest with you, like some of my designs would suck, but they would kill it. You know what I mean? The most suckiest design, I'm like, who's buying this shirt? Like, who's wearing this shirt? I want to see this person. Please send me a shirt review with it on, please. I want to see who's wearing this. What I did was this year, the beginning of this year, like I'm trying to understand the design a lot more, and I want to get in that design. I want to feel that design. You know what I mean? I want to kind of be more you see that the work behind it. So I have two illustrators and a typography guy on the team. And we kind of just like, I do a lot of the uploading and stuff now. I used to outsource that part, but then I went to a merch conference and Amazon's like, do not give anybody your password to your account. And that's actually coming straight from their voice. His name was Miguel. He's the head of Merch by Amazon. And he's like, you do not do that. And I was like, uh-oh. And then my buddy Young, he's like, dude, don't you do that right now? And I was like, be quiet. Don't say that. And I was like, no, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. So I stopped doing that. You know what I mean? But like as I was growing, like I wanted to do that. But right now with my my Etsy stores and stuff, I've been doing that. I have a VA that does my first store, and he does all the uploading. I don't touch that. That's been generating like anywhere between 7 to 10K in revenue a month. And with Etsy, the profit is way up there. And then I have a second store that I've been doing myself. And recently I just given him all the information for that store. So I'm going to create a third Etsy store. And I'm just going to kind of, you know, just building, you know what I mean, as you go along and stuff, and as you grow, just handing the password down and let them do all the work for you. And then, you know, and that's how I've been doing it. But with the design part, I'm very like I said, I had a Groundhog Day shirt that did really well. And it's pretty cool. I don't know, I might buy it and make a YouTube video on it. We'll see. But it has to do with something with the groundhog actually trying to, like, his shadows behind him. He's like doing something and his shadows behind him. So that might give it away right there. But it's a really good illustration. Like the drawing is really good. It's very creative. No one has that design on there. It probably has some copycats on it, but that design actually got all the way down to I think it made around 200 and here, let me check for you guys. I'm gonna show you exactly how many times it sold. It sold the last 30 days. It sold 52 times at 169 royalties. So that was pretty cool. But then I had like a Chinese New Year design that did really well too.
No, you don't. Let me ask you. When I was listening to your podcast your Real Talk the other day, something that was really kind of interesting with that guest gentleman. You know, he kind of shared kind of how he got started and kind of stumbling, you know, kind of getting started with kind of blogging and things like that. Like, what's kind of like your background? Like, do you have any design background? Like, how did you first kind of get started in kind of the whole like online hustling, making money thing? What was kind of like your learning process, just for anybody else out there who's kind of at the beginning stages? Like, what was kind of your journey like in that regard?
See, that's a big thing with me. Like, I honestly enjoy like learning about myself. Like, I literally like being in a room, just relaxing and just like learning something new. So my learning process was just Amazon.com. Like, I would go on Amazon.com and figure out like, all right, how are these guys making sales off this shirt and why? Like, that's another thing. You have to ask yourself why. That's one of the biggest things. Like, I think with entrepreneurship, like one of the biggest things is like why? Like why did this happen? Why? What? Like what's the reasoning behind it? So now with that right there, because I suck at designing. I suck. I am not good. I'm not but my ideas are there. Does that make sense? Like my ideas of a design and understanding it and being funny and being creative with it, I can kind of explain that to someone else better, and they can just draw it up for me, and and then I will that's how I'll do it, and that's it, and just really that's it. So I just do like a lot of my research just by on Amazon.com, and I'll Etsy, I'll go on Pinterest and stuff like that, and come up with creative ideas. So yeah, that's pretty much how I all started, and then just understanding Amazon, but with Amazon FBA and the BSR and stuff like that, understanding the rankings and all that, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Now, do you do like any of you do you do any text-based designing and kind of supplement the stuff that you're outsourcing, or are you pretty much 100% outsourcing right now?
100% outsourcing. I do like I said, I love doing the research part of it. So I'll go like right now I'm doing a lot of research on St. Patrick's Day, and that's pretty big for me. That is actually like one of the, for Merch by Amazon, that's actually one of the biggest holidays, because everybody loves to buy a shirt to go party. And like any type of leprechaun beer related to St. Patrick's Day does really well.
Well, you know that I was showing these guys. This is my favorite shirt right up here. I always carry a little bot with me.
Yeah, his sunglasses are pretty cool. I got everything about him. It's pretty cool. I'm looking at him.
Now, you know, just kind of a fun question. What's your favorite T-shirt that you own, that you've made, like most cleverest, most funniest? What's kind of your favorite? Do you have a favorite T-shirt in your drawer or something like that?
So I was doing a little thing where people will buy a shirt and just send it to me, and I would wear it on the show. I do not have the actual favorite T-shirt. Honestly, my shirts are like, when I have shirts that I buy from Target that are like $10, V-necks. Dude, those have been my favorite shirts since I was like, I'm 29 right now. Since I was like 19 years old. Like that's it. That's my go-to shirts right there. And I don't usually wear like none of my brand shirts, like anything like that related. But just a plain black shirt, man, and that's it. That's honestly that's my go-to. I have shirts that I'm in my drawer that I haven't even worn, but people that send me, probably have like about 20 shirts, and I'm just like, dude, these shirts are just taking up space. You know what I mean? I'm a very simple guy. I wear 5 shirts a week and just keep it very simple, man. And I'm big on that too. It's like, yeah, yeah, I don't think I have any.
You know, let me ask you that, because I'm a huge fan of Target shirts as well. And they have, what is it, like $10, $11? They got like these super soft shirts, some good designs and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on T-shirt pricing? Because, you know, obviously print on demand, especially when we kind of get into things like Printful, you know, you're seeing some people trying to sell shirts for $35 and $40 just because, you know, that's where they're able to do it margin-wise. And I've always kind of thought, you know, when I can go get an awesome T-shirt at Target for $11, like what do you think? Where do T-shirts top out price-wise?
That's a good question. I bought another. I was gonna go skydiving the other day. Let's bring this up. I was gonna go skydiving the other day, and I bought a Lion King shirt that said Hakuna Matata. I was like, I was gonna buy that shirt, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna wear this when I go skydiving, but the weather turned out bad. So that's actually a pretty cool shirt that I have right now with a Lion King shirt. So with the pricing on a shirt, I see, for example, that one right there, dude, that's a classic already. Like when I bought it, I was like, dude, this shirt's a classic. It's a badass shirt. So that right there, it all depends, because I do have an Etsy store and I'm doing really well with it. With that store, I have over like 250 reviews on that store, right? Over 250 reviews, and some of the people, I price the shirts between $20 to $22. But then, like when the customer wants shipping, like next day shipping, the customer paid other day. So if the sizing, depending on the size, if they want like a 3X or 2X and above, they will pay. I think she paid like about $27 for a shirt. Okay, and she paid $40 for shipping. So it went to $67. So that was big, right? Like, you know what I mean? So a customer with next day, like shipping and stuff, they'll pay next day air shipping and stuff like that. Will pay with $40 and everything will be like close to $60 for me for a shirt. That's including shipping though, but just the shirt itself will be anywhere between $27 to $30 on a shirt. They'll buy it but they want to see, like, you want to brand yourself. Like, for example, on Etsy, like I have over 250 reviews. So because some customers don't mind. They don't mind paying that premium price. And of course, I don't, right now I'm not using Printful. I actually have that's another thing too. I have a buddy that's actually doing all my shirts for me. And I get that shirts for a good price. And what he does, well, he prints it and all that stuff for me. But like I said, a customer will pay for a shirt, like $22 and above. Once, like I was selling the other day, I ran the sale off my store, and I was selling the shirts for $25 each, and I sold about 5 of them that day. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? I was like, what happened? I forgot to take off the sale. Of course, the traffic was a little bit lower, but once you start building like that, like they know that you're a brand, they don't mind paying that high quality price for a shirt.
We know too with Etsy, it seems like there's much more of among buyers, much more willingness to kind of support artists, and they kind of appreciate, you know, kind of the craftsman element of it. So yeah, it seems like people are willing to kind of pay a little bit more, even if for no other reason than to kind of support people. I had a question for you, and Julia was also asking for top 3 tips. But in terms of Etsy, do you create multiple theme stores? So, you know, I'm going to have one paddleboarding store, I'm going to have one soccer store, I'm going to have one, you know, Texas design store, or do you keep all your designs in one area? And then following up on that, Julia was asking what would be your top 3 designs for somebody growing a new Etsy store?
Okay, so the top 3 tips for then when it comes to that, so there's 2 questions right there. So the first, you're answering your question. I've been testing that out. So right now, the other day, I posted a screenshot the other day. I think I had, let me pop it up real fast 1 second. There's a screenshot that I posted the other day. I'll give you exact numbers. And this is what I've been testing. So I have a general store, and the general store is more of that store has been open probably for like a year already, close to a year. It has over 250 reviews. It looks pretty, you know what I mean? It looks nice and pretty, nice and clean. And that has like over 1,100 listings. But that's more of like trending designs, like for Valentine's Day right now. What I did with Valentine's Day right now, because I'm trying to squeeze in this last squeeze in the profits, because with Printful, okay, this is like when you guys get to that next level. With Printful, the shipping times are a little bit longer because they're actually doing everybody else's productions, doing their shirts and all that stuff. So the shipping times are a little bit like longer. Now that I have a different person that does my shirts that I'm close with, I can actually call them on the phone and tell them, hey, I need this shirt shipped out today, please. They'll ship it out. They'll print it for me in like 2 hours, ship it out, because I built that relationship. You know what I mean? So what I've been doing with that store right now, that's when that store is going to make the most profit because of the holidays and stuff like that. It's more of like a trending kind of designs and stuff. So right now I have like 1,100 listings, and it has like close to averaging between 8 to 10 sales a day. Okay. And right now it's kind of slow season. Sometimes it does only 5, sometimes it does only 2. It all depends. Right now we're getting into more of like the holiday season now. It's starting to pick up more. Now with my niche store, my second store that I have that I've been testing, the other day, I've been averaging 3 sales a day, and I only have 86 listings up. So I've been doing more keyword research, kind of getting more nerdy, getting into it. You know what I mean? One day I did, so I had 86 listings up. It was 21 visitors, and 6 orders. So the conversion rate, so 6 orders, 21 visitors, and the revenue was $135. So with the conversion rate right there is amazing. It's above a 10%. If you can do anything above 10%, you're freaking crushing it. So there's something you can test out right there. Because the niche store is more of like passionate, you know what I mean? The customer goes on there, they know it's kind of relating to them, so they feel comfortable on that store buying. So that's why my conversion rate is a little higher. That's something I'm testing out. I love testing stuff out, but like I said, that one only has 86 listings, and it's averaging 3 orders a day. So with 86 listings, and remember with Etsy, they charge a fee of 20 cents per listing. So I think with less fees and everything and not going into it all crazy. And you can focus more too, is create a niche store and just grow from there and learn from that. Because then you can create another niche store too, and you just keep on going.
Now, are you doing any of the Etsy PPC or I guess or any external kind of like Pinterest promotion or anything like that?
No, I'm not, but I am doing the Etsy, like the promoted listings within Etsy, like you said. That's actually really good. Like I did, I forgot the other day. I looked at it. I was like, I wonder how much I'm spending in ads. I forgot. Let me check that real fast. Let me double check, because another thing too, guys, is like when it comes to ads or anything like that, you got to be careful, because it'll like one day, like boom, spent $100 and oh, I made 20 sales today. Cool. I'm like, what up? I'm not even in the profit. So that's something that you have to be careful of. I only spent six cents the other day and made a sale. That's powerful. So
now you had on your channel the other day, I'll have to link to that in the description box, but I was watching this morning when I was going to get my coffee. You had, I forget their names, but you had two people on, a guy and a woman with like blue hair, and that was a great podcast, or a great episode of your show, kind of where you guys were really focusing on Etsy and growing stores, and she was kind of really talking about the niches. So for anyone who's wondering about Etsy, that'd be a great one to watch, and I'll make sure to put that in the description box below after we're done here.
Yeah, it was Dion Baker. She crushes it, man. She's very intelligent, like on like a whole nother level. She's I don't know, like you won't understand her at first. You have to text a couple of times, like me, like talking to her a few times to understand her. But I understand her. She breaks it down to finding your audience. Like you need to find your audience and see who like you're selling to. That's very important to her. So that's why I was trying to figure that out and trying to do my thing and do my research and kind of see, like, because Etsy, guys, believe it or not, Etsy gives you so much information on the back end. That's one of the most important things. Merch by Amazon, I'm not putting it down because Merch by Amazon has got me here. They don't give you none of that. Like, they don't give you no emails. They don't give you no or like how many people visit your listing. They do, but I think if you just you have to run ads, but they don't give you none of that free stuff. What search term was searched to find that listing, that's huge. You know what I mean? Because that one right there, what else? They give you, that shows you like the customer, how many people clicked on the listing, favored it, and purchased it, all that stuff. It gives you all the information, so that's pretty big. So that's why I like Etsy so much. It's pretty cool.
Now, my buddy Roger was asking, do you list any of your stuff on eBay at all, or is that not really worth your time?
That's something I've been wanting to test, because I know that Amazon is like #1, eBay's #2, and then Walmart's #3, I believe still is. But that's something to actually mess around with, but I haven't had time to do that yet, but I do want to get there soon.
Something that I just recently started experimenting with is, how eBay has those sponsored listings. It's a little bit different. Rather than paying up front, you say a percentage of the sale that you're willing to give away. So kind of the cool thing is, you're not going to pay anything unless you actually make a sale. You're probably paying a little bit more than if you paid per click, but nothing huge. But I do get a few sales coming in off of eBay that way. Let's see if we got any other questions here. Have you ever considered a license to sell a shirt with a famous character? So I'll ask you that. And also, I don't know if you know anything about it. I hear about it. I've never really dug into it. But are there some merch sellers who are kind of partnering with Disney or Marvel to sell their designs on Amazon? And have you personally done anything like that?
No, like kind of like the licensing. I know that you can do it. There's a few people that I know that have done it, but not with the big names like Marvel or anything like that. Really can't say that, because it's kind of like, if I say it, then people might go over there and try to message them and try to get the licensing deal too. So it's kind of unfair. But you can do it. You just got to figure out, like, you just like email them, like just same way. Like I find like good illustrators or any type of person that is good at. If I find like a good illustrator, I'm actually messaging. Like I'll go on Upwork and I'll message a lot of people and trying to get information from them. Like I'll do like 100. Like I'll do like anywhere between, not 100, but like 10 to 15. Like yesterday I think I did about 12 yesterday. I messaged them like, hey, how's it going? Like, you know what I mean? Trying to open them up. That's the thing that you want to do. The same thing with licensing. Like you want to email them, trying to be cool with them and trying to get that relationship. Building that relationship is very important. Like I have an illustrator messaging me right now on Skype, and he's like, you have any work for me to do? You know what I mean? So because I'm right now I'm focusing on like illustrations and stuff like that. I want a really good illustration, like for example, like that leprechaun that you have in the bag. It's a really good illustration. But my thing is like taking over like niches. Like I want a really good shark illustration in that niche. I want the best design in that niche. I want my design to stick out on a shirt because people will purchase it. Like, you know what I mean? Chances of a customer purchasing that shirt are very, very high, like the percentage. So.
You know, let's jump to. Let me ask you about that, because that's I also use onlinejobs.ph, and I'm always curious about kind of what other people's strategies are, kind of like what their expectations are of their designers. And I was fortunate, I got to meet with at Ecom Chicago, Glenn Zubia and Ken the Hustle Bee, who's from the Philippines. So he kind of gave me a little bit of insight into wages over there and things like that. I've been hiring people full-time, which I guess full-time is probably more like 30, 35 hours a week, but full-time Monday through Friday, and just as many designs as you can give me. Are you doing per design, or are you kind of doing a flat fee? And also, like, what do you expect out of them, like per day, like 10 designs, 20 designs, 50 designs?
With that part right there, I kind of calm that down a little bit. I actually have a main guy that does, like, they'll do like anywhere between like 1 to 3 illustrations a day, Monday through Friday, and they'll take like the weekends off. Now then I have my typography guy that will do the text-based stuff around it. So he'll make, that guy right there, he'll make anywhere between like 5 to probably a little bit more, probably like 10 to 15 a day. But any of like my illustration part with any of the good illustrations, like I want them to take their time and have like the best, like I said, detailed work. And when they do that, and they're creative with the actual illustration, I do see a big difference in sales. That's for sure. That's what I've been noticing. And I have them more focused on niches now. Like this one illustrator, or 2 of my illustrators, they both have 4 niches that they have to concentrate on, and that's it. And that's why I'm looking for another one. I'm like, dude, I need another one. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, if you guys think about it, in my mind, I want one niche to make me $20,000 to $30,000. 10,000 is good, I'll take it, but I want that $20,000 to $30,000 for each niche. If they can do that, that's going to be really amazing.
And then for the actual kind of more like logistically for like uploading, I know in one of your videos the other day you were talking about uploading all your merch shirts over to Redbubble. Are you using your designers for that? Or are you hiring, I guess because that's kind of unskilled labor, are you hiring other people strictly for that type of stuff?
With that, actually, I do have I used to do it. I'm really not doing it too much. But I did have this little program that will actually automate the uploading part for you. It's called OrbitKit, and that's what I was using last. But you can you actually upload one design and it uploads to 5 different platforms for you, or 4 different platforms for you. But yeah, with the part on that, it's very time consuming when it comes to uploading to other platforms like Redbubble or Spreadshirt, because it's like you actually have to it takes time on there. Like but it's cool though, because on Redbubble you could actually upload one design to like 20 different products. I sold I sold a clock the other day on Redbubble. I was like, I was buying this clock, you know? So it's pretty cool.
Now, you know, let's kind of, or actually, you know, we'll kind of stick with the outsourcing for a minute, and then I was going to ask you about the clock and some other platforms and stuff like that. So I know you were talking about the same thing. Like I put up a job listing and I'll get 70 to 100 people replying back. And I've heard you kind of talk about this on your channel a bit, but it can be kind of overwhelming, all the different designs to go through. So what's kind of your strategy in terms of, I got 100 people for applying to this job. You know, how are you narrowing it down? How are you selecting the final guy that you're going with?
Kind of what I do is when it comes down to that, of course, I look at their portfolio, and like it depends. Like sometimes I'll just look at 20 a day or 30 a day, and if you get overwhelmed with a lot of applications like that, just like I said, I like to look at the portfolio, message them, and kind of see like how they respond back, see how they are. I actually have a really good guy right now, or 2 of them. They're both really good, but like the way I respond back, like they're like, happy Monday in the morning, like, well, at 6 p.m. over here, they're like, happy Monday, RJ, how's it going? You know what I mean? Like they're very energetic, and they're like lovable people, you know, and they have real good personalities. You can just tell. Like I do like I've been doing like weekly like phone call meetings with them, and just kind of give them the idea. And I told them like I actually this month right here, whoever has the best illustration for the month, is going to get $100 bonus on top of whatever they make. So they're like happy. They're like, what, for real? So I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And then once we start growing, we'll take it to the next level. You know what I mean? We'll just we'll have fun with it. And I just want to push that level. You know what I mean? I want to be on that next level I want to grow. Like I really want to grow. And I really want this. And I want to show them like, hey, let's kill it together. Let's crush it together, take it to the next level. And then if I benefit from it, your guys are going to benefit from it too as well. So, yeah, I'm pretty big on that. But with that part right there, like you want to build that, see if you can build that relationship with them, because there's some of them that are actually kind of, they don't want to answer you and they don't want to do this. And they're just like kind of rude in a way. And I'm not about that. I'm definitely not about that. So I just kind of just go on to the next person. So.
I think that's key, is the building relationships. And I heard you talking about that on the channel. And, for people who run to Fiverr, someone's designing shirts for you and the next guy, and there's really no loyalty. You're probably more likely to get somebody pulling stuff off of Google Images. And like you said, you kind of treat somebody right, offer some incentives, and hopefully that guy's committed to you, and you can kind of, like you're doing, you're building a team. Yeah.
No, that's the big thing too, as well, too. Is a lot of people that say that they hire somebody, and then when they hire that person, that they actually steal the design from someone else. But that's something that you have to pay attention to. You know what I mean? Before, like when they start doing that, like you have to pay attention to see where they got the design from. You have to search for it, because if you're doing your research, you're gonna recognize the illustration and see where it came from. So there's one guy that I hired, and I seen, I don't know, I was going down. If you know a T-shirt fella, you know who that is?
I'm not familiar with that one.
His name's Adam, but
okay.
His business is T-shirt fella, and he does really good illustrations. He can draw really well. And I tried to get this guy from Upwork, and I seen like kind of like the same illustration as him on, like I seen like the body of like the illustration, and I was like, wait that looks exactly like the one I got. It's like I was like, hey, where did that illustration that you said you did for me? Can I see it again? And he didn't mention it no more. He didn't bring it up, because he knew, like I think he knew. He's like, oh dang. So that's what once you, like, when you're in there and you're doing your stuff, you're doing your research and doing all, like you're in the game, like you're in it, you'll kind of understand a lot more, like better. Like you'll get the design part down. That's one of the most important things, is the design part. Now I'm actually gonna come out with a video later on today, but the design part, like say for Etsy, let's go back a little bit with Etsy. When you're using like any type of print provider like Printful, there's Printify, there's a few other ones out there too as well. The most important thing is order a shirt before you even start, like with your shop or anything like that. Order a shirt, and you want to test the print quality. You want to make sure it's okay with you. Like that's very important, because if the customer gets a horrible print quality, like the design on the shirt looks horrible, that's gonna look bad like right away.
So I had ordered a shirt from, I kind of got sucked in by that Custom Cat, the $6 Gildan, I believe it was. And I ordered it, and I mean, not only did it feel like a rag I'd wash my car with, but it was, the print didn't go on there well, and I wouldn't want to give something like that to a customer.
No, I had a bad experience with that too as well. I actually made that one when I did that video. I did a video on it. It should be out today. But same exact thing. I did so Printify, and their Custom Cat is my locker on there. So through Printify, Printify is like a kind of like, they're like the affiliate. You know how like hotels.com, they find the hotel for you.
Right.
Kind of what Printify does. They go and find the print provider for you, and it's a Custom Cat is my locker on there. And I ordered a few shirts, and I had a big return, like $162 return that came back to me. And the shirts, when I got them, I was like, dang, the print quality is horrible on this. It's like, I would hate to get this for Christmas, dude. I was like, this. So I stopped using them right away because of that. But yeah, something like you said, it's like you can use, like even the print quality of the design printed on a Bella canvas, it looks like, because of the quality of the design, it looks like you can wash your car with. Like, so yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. So in terms of kind of going back to picking designers, so I actually got like a queue of like 77 people I actually got to go through later today, and I'd actually made a video. I don't think I ever got around to posting, and I'll have to post it, but there's definitely different styles, right? So like some designers are going to be very into kind of like an anime kind of cartoonish style. Some other guys might, you might see they can only do kind of like military kind of tactical styles. Like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for somebody who has is diverse and can do a lot of different things? Are you looking for a style that kind of matches the niche? What are you looking for in terms of like their portfolio?
I'm looking at when I go on there, I'm looking at the detail work, because I think if they have really good detail work, they can pretty much do anything. That's a very important thing to me, because like most of the people that you see that are artists, I'm surprised. Like I've been doing some coaching calls with a few of the people that are artists, and they message me, and he sends me, like yesterday I had a guy that came on and we're doing a call, and then he sent me like his designs on Merch by Amazon, and I was like, this is you? and he's like yeah, he's all, yeah, that's me. I was like, dude, you can pretty much draw anything, right? Like you see it and you can draw it, right? He's like, yeah. So I was like, dude, you just need like the right, like you need the right path, like to understand like what's making sales. Like you need that direction. And I was like, I can help you with that. And he's just like, yeah, he's like, I can pretty much draw anything. And it was some really good illustrations. So pretty much with the detail work, it's very big for me. If you look at a person's portfolio and you see that they have really good detail work, like that leprechaun design you have in the back, I would have them like start doing anything like leprechaun beard, because that's big for St. Patrick's Day. And I would have them, for example, with that illustration he's holding a pot of gold, I would actually have my illustrator do that design, that illustration, because it's a really good one, and then I'll actually have him do an illustration holding the beer. So I'll kind of stretch that illustration out, probably like if you can do 1 or 2 different types of variations with that illustration, I would do it, but not like more than 3, and kind of just keep the quality of that design, you know, because I think that's one of the most important things too, because you can scale out you can scale out a design, but you don't want to scale it out too much. Like you don't want to exceed 10, like no more than 10 of an illustration, because I think it brings down the quality of the design. And that's something that I've been trying to learn too as well. Just kind of understand like, okay, should I stretch this design out 5 or 10 times, or just leave it at 5 and that's it, you know, because I don't want that, like, you know what I mean? I don't want to stretch it out too much.
Now, you know that I think I already know the answer to this, but one of the questions I had for you was kind of quality versus quantity. And a lot of people, I kind of try to do a little bit of both, but I'm going to have to take some cues from you there, because you're obviously doing very well on there. And it seems like you're more into quality than kind of cranking out a lot of garbage. And I kind of find myself doing a little bit of both, but I probably do too much garbage, just kind of, you know, throwing shit at the wall kind of method.
Yeah. That's another thing too. It's like what I've been testing too as well right now is like that right there. That's very important. Like you kind of want the illustration to fit like a glove when it comes to the when you're putting text on it. You want it to fit like beautiful. You don't want no spaces, like leaving no spaces on a shirt and have it big and bold and taking up that whole design space is very important when it comes to Merch by Amazon. Like you want it big and bold. It's crucial, man. Right now, what I've been testing too as well is running AMS ads. Like I've been running AMS ads, and I've been for Black History Month. I never hit Black History Month, and I started uploading the designs in December. And now I think I have a few of them that are going to actually a few designs that are going to take off. I have some Valentine's Day shirts that are designs that are doing really well that are taking off. And then it was the groundhog, and now it's so the groundhog is going down because it's about to come up. That trend is kind of going down, but Black History Month, it's picking up where Groundhog Day is going down. So that's good. Another thing with the AMS ads is like, so for St. Patrick's Day, I will start right now. Like go on in there. I've been putting like the main keyword at the beginning and just keeping the bids real low at 15 cents with AMS ads, and kind of just, you want to rank for St. Patrick's Day. And if you start now, the opportunity, like the chance of you ranking for St. Patrick's Day on Amazon is really good if you actually do it like right now and start running it right away.
Now, do you use any automatic targeting, or are you doing all your own keywords in there? I'm
doing automatic targeting.
Okay.
I kind of just like to keep it like that. And when you go into like when you see a shirt that's actually doing really well, and Amazon will tell you, of course, like your back end. Like I've used Pretty Merch. I'm not sure if you use that tool.
Yeah, I play around with that.
Yeah, but it's nice and pretty, and it's kind of helps with the workflow. You know what I mean? That's a big thing too as well. So kind of like you see a shirt that's actually you think is going to do well, I will go in there and kind of just mess with like the manual targeting and stuff, and just mess around with it and see what happens. You got to understand like the exact, and then I think there's phrase and there's broad. Just understand those right there, and that will kind of, when you go into there, there's a few videos on them that are really good out there. Just learn how to do like manual targeting, and then go from there.
Now, somebody I had posted on Instagram kind of looking for questions, and somebody earlier had asked, like, how do you organize yourself? So like, I'm pretty bad about this. I have a couple niches that I'm solid in, and I keep copies of designs and bullet points and things. But for the most part, like, I'll crank out stuff, and then when my download folder gets full, I'll just kind of delete it. Like, are you using a software? Do you have a zip drive? Or are you kind of keeping all your designs as well as your titles, bullet points, descriptions?
So as organized, okay, that's another thing too that I like. So when I'm focusing on niches, it's so much easier, man. It's so much easier because if you're focusing on one niche and you want to take over one niche, you have it all organized. Like, you click on that one brand, and then you go in there, boom. Yeah, it's all nice and pretty. You can see, okay, which ones that I didn't upload, what design I didn't upload yet, and you can see like, okay, I didn't upload this design. So I'm using Google Drive, and I share it with my team, and they either just upload all the designs. When they're done, they upload the designs to the actual folder, and that's pretty much it. And I have it separated by 2019. So there's January, February, just all the months, and just have them upload to there. Now, if we have like scaled out designs, I will actually have them put like inside that folder with all those designs inside that folder with that actual. So let's say I'm doing like a leprechaun for all the birthdays, birthdays are for leprechauns, for kids or whatever. I'll actually put birthday leprechaun and then put all those designs inside that folder.
Okay.
Kind of keep it nice and organized.
And this is kind of jump into another issue. And I don't know if you're either aware of this or had any issues with it. I've been a little bit kind of slacking on Amazon lately. I was a little bit discouraged back in December. But there's kind of I think a relatively well-known kind of issue where it's so easy to get people's stuff taken. Create a throwaway email, say this T-shirt's mine, and there's really not a whole lot of a dispute process in my experience. It's kind of like they'll tell you go resolve it with the copyright owner, and you send an email and it's a bounce back email. Yeah. And I haven't found any way to I had 15 designs taken down in one single day. I wound up having to delete 200 to 300 of my own designs just to kind of salvage my account and make sure I didn't, because it was somebody in my niche coming after me. Yeah. Have you run into any issues with that, or any solutions to that by chance?
I actually I probably had like a few designs taken down, maybe like one or two. But I'm more focused on, when it comes to that, I had one person do that. I actually had one design taken down when I had a cuss word on a shirt. And I had a cuss word on a shirt, and I got that one taken down by Amazon. But I know what you're talking about, like when they're copying your design pixel per pixel, or they're close to actually like one design, and they're like, hey, you're copying my design. You know what I mean? Right. I think I had like one or two. It was kind of similar, but they weren't, and they took them down, and I just, you know what I mean? I just don't even focus on that. Like, I don't even care. I actually have people that message me and tell me like, hey, what do I do? What can I do? I have someone actually copy my design pixel for pixel. I was like, you can either focus on that or focus on the next thing. Because if they're going to keep on doing that, continuously doing that, they're not going to be in this long term. Like, I'm thinking about long term. I don't think they'll keep up with you. So I preach that a lot to the people that follow me. It's like, don't focus on that, because a lot of these people that are coming in, most of them that I'll copy a lot of your designs, they're coming from overseas, and what they do is like they'll go watch your video and they try to do something real fast and try to make a quick buck, and then they usually get their account suspended. Like, for example, we have people making Super Bowl shirts right now on Merch by Amazon, and that's probably like one of the most stupidest things. But in a way, some of them know and some of them don't, because they're not from our country, you know what I mean? So they're probably from overseas, and then have nothing to. What are the LA Rams, or what are the New England Patriots? Like, who's that? Like, they don't understand like who that is. And that's another thing too, is like when you're researching, you're doing design, it's very important that you research it. Like, you do not want to put a design up and not know what it is. So there's one that's going around right now. It's a pineapple slut. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't caught that one.
Okay. I'm like, what is this, man? So I looked it up, and there's some guy at a restaurant. I think he's at a restaurant, but he has a picture of a pineapple, and it says "slut" on the bottom of it. I'm just like, dude. And I go on Amazon. I'm like, who's buying this shirt? It's going crazy on there. And I looked it up on the USPTO because that's where I do a lot of my trademark infringement stuff. Like I look it up and make sure it's not on there. And I looked it up and it's not on there. I'm just like, okay. So I uploaded one of those shirts and something similar to that, and I uploaded it. And what I did was kind of just it's a whole different. It's different, way different. And what I did, I uploaded it, and we'll see. It's in the process now. It's going to review. I'm not sure what it is. So when it goes into the review, that means there's something behind it. I'm not even sure.
Well, let me tell you, Sue, I wasn't aware of that one, but I forget what it was. I was going to do something similar. I was going to do like taco slut or something like that, and I was just about to list it. And, obviously we're allowed to do cuss words. We're allowed to do weed shirts now, going to, was it October? The one thing that I was kind of cautious about is with this whole PC, Me Too, everything, I was worried that slut might be considered like hateful towards women, you know what I mean? So even though swearing is allowed, that's the one thing that kind of threw me off. I'm like, oh, is some, women going to be offended by this and complain? And, now I'm being hateful towards women, even though it's just kind of a fun kind of taco slut shirt or whatever. That was my one worry with that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yesterday I got 6 rejections. I've been wanting to make some content around that. What happened was I accidentally had in the bullet points. One of the keywords was tequila, and I had it on the youth shirt. So I had it on a youth shirt, but it was just a keyword that I was using, and it actually got rejected. All 6 shirts that I uploaded for it was a Cinco de Mayo shirt. And I uploaded it, and all 6 of them got rejected. And then I went and edited it, took out tequila, and it's live now. But they're getting strict on that stuff. Anything to do with alcohol towards like any youth shirts or anything like kids shirts or anything like that, they'll reject you right away. So that's pretty big.
Now, in terms of design, I was kind of curious your thoughts. What's more important, the quality of the design or kind of the metadata, the titles, tags, and descriptions, or are they equally as important?
Right now, I think, like right now, like for example, like with my account, like I've sold over 23,000 items. By the end of the day today, I'll be over 82,000 in royalties all time. A big thing for me is I kind of just been focusing more like with the title and the brand. It's kind of like I make the brand kind of look as professional as possible, and then the title I just want those keywords in there, and I use the Amazon search bar to see if the title, let's say for example, like the saying on the shirt has a saying. I'll go on Amazon just to see if the actual saying is ranking, like if people are, if there's like a demand on Amazon, like if all the other designs have a BSR and for the saying on the shirt, then I'll include it in the title. But if it doesn't, I keep it more general with the keywords. For like St. Patrick's Day, I'll put St. Patrick's Day, patties, beer, drinking party, gift. You know what I mean? Keep it very general when it comes to that. But if that saying, let's say I always carry a little pot with me, that saying right there, if there's a demand for that, I will actually put that in the title. But if there isn't, I don't. And that's one of the very
kind of makes a lot of valuable real estate on things that aren't necessarily just kind of filler words and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I was kind of curious about, have you had any strategies that have kind of changed over time or that you've kind of flip-flopped on? So, just as an example, like at one time I was doing my shirts low, and then I was like, no, I'm going to do everything high, or, doing quality and then flipping it. Has there been anything that's kind of changed for you strategy-wise over your time on merch, or have you been pretty consistent on strategy?
I've been pretty consistent, because so I talk with a lot of guys that do merch by Amazon, and it just keeping the price low is always going to give you that first sale. And I'm always big about ranking. So because if you rank really well, you'll always you'll get more sales. That's just how it is on Amazon. Like if your BSR is really low, you will get more sales. So that's a big thing with me. I've been like right now, like for example, for like trending holidays, you just have to be careful. What I like to do is like wait until like the last week and a half or week, and then I'll raise my price up to $19.99. But for the most part, I'll 1287. Well, the new update is 1307 now. I'll keep it at cost. Get a few sales. Like right now, I have a St. Patrick's Day that's been getting sales. Like I said, it's very important to rank. And those keywords in the title, if you can rank for St. Patrick's Day, I'm obviously ranking with a few shirts on there already, but it's still far away. And a lot of people don't understand it. They don't get it. It's all about like you're ranking on the algorithm with Amazon and keeping the price low, getting those sales, you're ranking. Keep on getting those sales, you're going to rank even more. And then once you get close and you see that you're ranking on the front page, like I have a design that was ranking on for Valentine's Day. It's ranking right now on the front page, and I'm like number 3 last time I checked. But then it goes to number 5, and then like number 7. But I'm ranking though. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm ranking on that front page is very important because you get all that traffic and people are buying it. So I'm big on that with the pricing strategy. That's my pricing strategy. That's the way I do that. Over time, anything that's changed is I think just my design quality has changed a lot. I'm more focused on being very creative with the design, and I want the best design out there. And I think that's pretty important. That's pretty important with me now. Before, like I didn't care about the design. Like, oh yeah, come on, let's get out like 100 or 200 of them in one day and let's upload them all. But now I'm just like, you know what? Let's get like 10 to 15 good quality designs. And let's upload them, you know. So that's big for me.
I'm gonna start doing that strategy more because I was kind of falling into the mindset of like it's so easy for things to get lost in the shuffle. I just have to pump them out. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of revise my strategy and kind of give that a try and just kind of a little bit off topic, but kind of piggybacking what you said about niches. I heard you talking about this on a video, and I run into the same thing, which is like this really odd, weird thing where you'll sell a 4th of July shirt in December, you know, or you sell a Father's Day shirt 6 months after Father's Day. I heard you kind of talking about that, and I'll just have some of the oddest kind of shirt sales come in just in regards to the time of the year.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing too. Like I was just doing like just following like keyword with my research, doing my research, and just I would design out for like a lot of different niches and kind of be unorganized when it comes to that. That's easier to get overwhelmed with, is to be in all kinds of different niches all at once and not knowing what you're doing. That's very big. And right now I took a whole different like perspective of all that. And like my design in one niche is the best design, and I know it. You know what I mean? Right. Like you got to understand, like if you spend $100 on one illustration or $200 on one illustration, and if it can make you what like $500, $600 for the month or each month, that's amazing. And then once you get to the next level, think about it. If you're going into a holiday like St. Patrick's Day and you spend you invest $10,000 for you want the best illustrations for St. Patrick's Day, I guarantee you'll crush it. Yeah, on the ROI on something like that, okay, that's a kind of a high number, I know, but you got to keep in mind, like a lot of people get confused that first of all, you don't have to print the shirt, like, you know what I mean? You don't have to take care of customer service. So then what are you supposed to do then? Like it's more important that you invest in the design, or if you can do it yourself, that's even better. But your main focus should be on the actual design, because you're not printing the shirts, you're not taking care of customer service, you're not doing none of that. So your main focus is the actual quality of the design. And then to top that off too, when I upload them to Etsy or anything like that, it does make sales, so it pays for itself over time. So that's something pretty cool to think about. But yeah, I know a lot of people that do like crazy numbers for St. Patrick's Day, and I've been juggling between $4,000 to $7,000 a month, and that actually kind of gets me mad a little bit, because I should be hitting those big numbers. But now that I think about it that way, it's like, okay, now I'm coming for you.
You know, it's funny. It's with outsourcing and things like that. A lot of people hear about these guys on YouTube who are doing $20,000 in profit in the month of December and things like that. And then I hear some other people who kind of talk shit about people who outsource their designs. And I'm sure it's designers who are like, oh, well, you're not true to the. But really, ultimately, if you really want to scale up, that's kind of the way to do it. And if you want to have any dream of getting to the 5K a month, 10K a month, like, not only does outsourcing give kind of a different take than your own take on designs, but just being able to get more quantity up there. And I've been hearing a lot of people kind of criticizing that or unwilling to spend money. But yeah, I mean, I've been like you. I've been on onlinejobs.ph for a while, and I do a little bit of a hybrid of. I do some really kind of crappy text-based stuff, but that kind of supplements my numbers. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of outsourcing.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like a lot of people, they talk about that, but it just like you. Honestly, I don't even pay attention to what they say, because I have some people that say that, and I'm just like, dude, but I'm kicking your ass in numbers, and like, what do you want me to say? There's your opinion, and then there's their opinion. Obviously, you care what you think more, but because even if you start doing it the way they say it, they're not gonna help you do it the way they want you to do it. So then, why does their opinion even matter? So that's another thing though too. I'm very big with illustrations, man. To see waking up in the morning and seeing a badass illustration, dude, that's like it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, see someone else's creative work and how like the detail it is, it makes you smile, man. Like I look at them, it's like, dang, this is cool, man, and it makes you smile in the morning and start your day off right. So I'm very big when it comes to people that are very creative and stuff like that. I respect it so much, and I appreciate it a lot, because it just makes it actually starts. I look at my phone and I go on Skype, and I'm like, whoa, oh, this is cool. And I'm like, hey, look at this. You know what I mean? So, but that's something, I don't know. That's a big thing to me. So.
Now, let me ask you this, because this is something that I find to be challenging at times, and that I think a lot of people who are just kind of getting started with outsourcing, or even people just who use Fiverr kind of run into, is it's really a skill to be able to take a design that's in your head and translate that to a designer, sometimes when there might be a little bit of a language barrier. So do you have any tips? Like, will you sketch something out on paper, or like mock something up in Canva to kind of give them an idea of the design and placement, or is it all done verbally, or what's kind of your strategy for making sure the idea in your head is communicated to the designer, and what you get in the final result?
Yeah, so that something right there, that's what I've been practicing too as well. Is showing people the research part of it. If you have that language barrier with them, you can just message them and tell them, hey, I'm gonna message you, and then I'm gonna kind of show you. I'm gonna screen share my screen and show you guys exactly like what I mean, and kind of go that way. So depending on the niche, like I said, depending on the niche you want to go on there, let's say it's like the French Bulldog niche or whatever, and you kind of just want to go on that front page and see, like, get an idea of what's selling, and give them that feel, because each niche has its own like different like illustrations and like typography and stuff, and you got to understand that. And once you understand that, it's kind of like a game changer, because you can focus more, and once you focus more, your sales will increase for sure. So it's pretty big.
Now, are you doing? I'm just kind of going through some comments here. Are you doing pop sockets at all, or even hoodies? Or are you sticking pretty much exclusively to t-shirts?
See, right now, like I've been, so like if I have I'm like straight to t-shirts, but if I see if I have a design that's selling really well, I'll upload it to other products, because that's a big thing that's important. Like if you have like a design that's doing really well, just upload them to other products, and I'm pretty sure people will buy them. And that's pretty much what I do. And then also too, you can upload, because you can only upload to 5 different colors. You can also upload it again to the other colors and see what happens too. So with the t-shirts, I'm not sure how many colors there is, but you can upload that one illustration to all the colors. So you can upload it, I think, about 3 times, right? You can upload 4 times. You can upload a design to a standard t-shirt. And so you can do that. And then there's the premium shirt, and then you can just do the same thing with that one too as well.
Now, in terms of like other platforms, are you doing Etsy, Society6, Spreadshirt? How far are you stretching yourself across different platforms?
So right now, what I recommend, so with Merch by Amazon, like I said, there's no upfront cost, no none of that. That's a game changer. But once you start going, and once you get onto the next level, you can go into Etsy. I like Etsy a lot. Etsy is pretty cool. It's like that's my second one. I have 2 stores going, and they already made sales today for the day. My general store is starting to kick in, because, like I said, we're getting closer to the holiday. People want their shirts, and I can provide that shipping time for them. So once I can provide that actual, if I can squeeze in because a lot of the Etsy stores, they don't have the shipping times I do. So that's big. I mean, you may have to talk after this. for having me on. I might have to, show some love to you. So that's big right there, because once you do that, like you can squeeze that in. But my Etsy is my go-to. I would see what print providers you got to test a few out and see which one works for you, and kind of just build that relationship, because I know there's a few people out there that actually have like connects with Printful, and they have like a manager on their team, and they get like the faster shipping times and stuff like that, because you know what I mean. They're bringing in some numbers. They're bringing in like 20, 30K a month on Etsy. And I have a buddy, he brought in like about on Etsy in December. I probably bought in. I've been averaging on November and December. I probably averaged about 3,000 to 4,000 in profit on Etsy, and my revenue was like close to like 8,000, 7,500 on there. But the profit was it was really good in November and December, and I kind of seen that, and I was like, wow, okay, I need to pay attention to this more. And then my buddy over there is doing like 70K, because the guys got to remember too, like the customer is not scared to buy a $20, $25 shirt, $22 shirt. They'll buy it, and then you put like sweaters on, so they'll buy those up like nothing. So something to think about.
Let me ask you about this. How about for mock-ups? What are you doing for Etsy pictures? Are you doing actual mock-ups on a model, or are you just doing shirts on a white background? Or
yeah, right there, the shirts on a white background. That's very important. You want to make sure it's the mock-up is very nice, and like you want to make sure it's nice and pretty, because that's a big thing too as well. Do not, because Printful, I know Printful does the standard when you upload it to Printful and you push it through to Etsy, they have like the guy, I think it is. They have the guy. Those are not, they're okay starting out with, but your goal is to take it to the next level. Your goal is not to be okay. You want to be good. You want to be spectacular. I haven't actually bought like probably like $20 worth of mock-ups. So I probably bought 5 different mock-ups the other day. I was messing around. I was like, dude, what am I doing? I bought all these mock-ups, but I was like, you know what I mean? I'm just testing and see what happens. I know I'm going to make my money back though. That's the most important thing. Like I know in my mind that I'm gonna make the money back, but having a very like pretty mock-up that is targeted towards a woman, because most of the customers on Etsy are women, and to get there, the women, they go on Etsy, they buy for men, they buy for kids, they buy for themselves. So your audience is women. So you want to focus on like, okay, when a woman is scrolling up on their phone, they want to see like a pretty mock-up. Like, you know what I mean? They want to see it, and they'll click on it, and then, yeah.
Now with that's a good point you made about Printful. Etsy is more women, obviously, and I think every platform, Redbubble has a little bit of a different character than Amazon in terms of what people are looking for, what people like on there. Is it worth putting out like an Etsy store about guns and survival? Will a woman buy those shirts for her husband, or is it better to stick to kind of cutesy, kind of more feminine designs?
That's a big thing too right now. I've been doing too as well right now, is researching, because like I said, I have 2 Etsy stores, and I think I'm going to open up a 3rd one. And I always research, and I want to see that the demand is there. So that's one of the most important things. Like if you in that niche right there that you're talking about, guns and all that stuff, I will go on Etsy and research, look at that first page, see if there's a demand. If there's only 2 listings up, kind of like a good chance like don't do that, but you never even know, like, until you test it. Like those 2 listings might even be making their whole month, so that's something that you have to test out right there for sure. But I'm big on that. You want to go in there and kind of see if there's a demand. Like if you see like a shirt that has a best-selling tag on Etsy, like Etsy tells you, like, okay, this shirt, it'll show you like if the shirt sold and the customer left a review. If the customer left a review down below in the listing, that means the customer purchased it and they actually came back and left a review for that shirt. So that shows a demand right there. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
The demand is there. So you want to figure that out first. That's the most important thing, figuring out if there's a demand for that actual niche, and then going from there. And that's actually pretty fun too, because once you figure that out on your own, and then the actual listing makes a sale for you. But dude, it's fun. So
now, is there any? I've never really stumbled upon anything. I maybe have heard of some things, but is there any tools for Etsy that are similar to a Unicorn Smasher or a Jungle Scout or a Terapeak or anything like that?
Oh, so I've been using there's Etsy Rank. You can that's actually pretty good. They have a free version. It's actually it's really good. And I think the premium version is like $10 a month, but that free version is just it's pretty good. It'll get you to that $10 a month that you need to. Once you get to that $10 a month, you can. Yeah, but for now, use the free version. Okay.
Now, Sia was asking. This is kind of hopping a little bit back to St. Patrick's Day, but I think she was kind of asking how to kind of go into saturated niches and make a mark and not just be another shirt. But she said if my plan for a St. Patrick's Day shirt is to make funny sayings with a few shamrocks, do you think that's a good plan, or do we need to concentrate more on custom designs? So I guess that's more about designs, but just kind of in general, like everyone's going to be making Christmas shirts or Halloween shirts. You have any advice for people to kind of separate yourselves, whether that be, cross niches like Halloween Mom, or how do you stand out from everybody else going after the same topic?
Yeah, something like that. Like I said,
Quality.
The quality is it's very big, because it's like if you have a really good quality design, you're gonna stand out. You got to figure out how can you stand out. So once you get to that level and you're in a saturated niche, and you have over 200,000 listings or 100,000 listings or something like that, you want to figure out, because Amazon's been getting pretty good with their algorithm, where they've been switching you out on the front page and stuff like that. So they're giving you a chance. So what it seems like, what I've been understanding and I've been noticing. You want to stand out with your design. The quality of the design. If the quality of the design stands out and you make that sell, man, you're like, that's another good thing too. Is like, that's all about testing and stuff like that, of course. But if you have a good quality design and you hit that trend or the niche, whatever, and you start making sales, that's a really good sign. Like, I've been doing it. There's one niche I've been taking over last month, and I uploaded about 40 or 50 designs. And I actually, most of the designs I made a sell within that week. One design I made a sell within 6 hours. And another design I made a sell within 3 days. But within that week, I probably sold about 10 of them within that week. So,
Wandering Marine was asking, what about shoes and pants? I want to make a small scale clothing business out of Mexico. So I'm not sure if he's doing print on demand, but do you design on any kind of, I guess this is kind of an interesting topic. I have a buddy who, he does a lot of Etsy, and he does pins. He's kind of real into the music festival scene. And so he gets pins made in China and kind of sells those. And he's doing kind of another cool thing where he's doing like lighter wraps he probably shouldn't be doing Mario, but he's doing Mario and things like that. Are you kind of expanding onto other types of items, whether that be pants, jackets, whatever?
No, that's actually really good. See, I'm on my third Etsy store. I'm trying to figure out. This is what I'm trying to figure out if I should. I was looking into stickers, because I know that on Redbubble, when I'm on Redbubble, I sell a lot of stickers. So I'm just looking into that. You want to be different, and I like this right here. This is actually a really good question. You want to be different, but you want to make sure there's a demand for it, first of all. So on Redbubble, this is where I figured out the demand for this. On Redbubble, I make sales for stickers. Like that's probably my number one seller on there. So it shows a demand for it, and then you go on Google and type it in. It shows a demand for stickers too. Type it in, and it actually auto completes it for you. So you need to figure out if there's a demand for it, first of all. And if there's less competition in that niche, I would do it. I would you know what I mean? That's if you say if you're selling yoga pants, for example, and there's no competition in your niche, that very little competition, and you have the best design on there, that's so much. You have so much power. There's actually showed a article. There was an article on there was a girl that she was selling bathroom products. And Printify actually kind of put this article out there, but she was selling bathroom products, the floor mats. She had the shower curtains, towels, and all this. And I was like, dang, this is pretty interesting, because you get kind of think about it more. You're like, okay, if I was the number one store on Etsy and I was selling towels and just killing it, if you're selling towels on Etsy, because you're selling towels on there and you're crushing it, I guarantee you'd be doing good. Floor mats, anything like that, anything different.
Is that girl you're talking about? I remember, this might be a different person, but there was a girl who was doing really, really well, and she had a clever idea. She was doing these reminder floor mats for women. So you'd put it outside your front door, and it was like, did you turn your hair curler off and things like that? Is that the girl you're talking about?
No, I think this girl is from Italy or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually got onto a phone call with the Printify and I was talking to them a little bit, like one of the managers over there, and they're from Italy too. Like a lot, they travel a lot, but that's where that blog came from. I guess she was from Italy, and she was doing like a lot of bathroom stuff. So you kind of like with that niche, that's your niche. You're in the bathroom niche. You know what I mean? So you want to see if there's a demand for that niche. You know, the old backpacks. Like you got a backpack right there in the back, right there.
Yeah, so you probably like this one. This one where we were selling at there's in Pilsen, they got this like taco and tamale fest and fish street fest and stuff. So yeah, we're doing a lot of the
that's that Mexican game, isn't it?
Yeah, Loteria.
Yeah,
those things were killing it. A lot of the street fest and things like that over the summer.
Yeah. So that's another thing too. Like you can do print on demand backpacks and back to school. Dude, I'm pretty sure those things crush it. If you can find like a really good unicorn illustration or something like that, and you throw it out all over the backpack, I'm pretty sure you do some damage in there.
You know what? I like what you said. So this thing right here, if you were to order this through Printful, it's like, I don't know, base price is like $40. So I'm gonna have to charge $50 for a relatively low quality backpack. But like you said, man, you listed on Printful. If I sell 10 of them, I can be pretty confident to go to Alibaba and buy 50. And as opposed to paying $40 base price or whatever, I can probably get these things for, I think these things are anywhere from, depending on quality and the size, anywhere from $3 to $6 tops maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that you say that, because I've been doing some research on there too as well, because those Chinese people are pretty smart. They're ahead of the game, man. They're ahead of the game. So that's what I was kind of thinking about too. I was like, these guys are usually ahead of the game and they know where the sales are coming from. So let me go start doing my research on Alibaba or AliExpress and see what's selling on there for them, and then kind of just bring it over into my store and make it better. I'll
tell you this: if you have any interest in kind of venturing more into that, and also open to anybody else in the chat or whatever as well. So last night I did an interview with a buddy of mine, Keenan, and he's been living in China for the past 4 or 5 years, teaching English over there. And he kind of has his own little hustles with FBA and stuff. But a while back, he had offered to, kind of help me out and kind of be my feet on the ground over there. So if you have any interest in sourcing anything, he was saying he'd be happy to help people out just in terms of, he speaks Chinese, so contacting a factory, or if you get some stuff made and want to have the quality checked by somebody that you kind of know and trust before it gets shipped over here, he was kind of offering to kind of help people out with some of that stuff.
No, I was watching a little bit of the interview yesterday. He was just talking about how the schools are and stuff like that. Yeah.
Let's see. Let me follow up on some questions here. I guess while I'm kind of reading these, you got a buddy of yours who has a screen printing shop or something like that printing for you. And for those of us who don't have kind of the homie hookup, there's a lot of screen printing shops in different cities. And I know a lot of times these businesses are maybe struggling or are slow between, certain sports seasons. Any suggestions or advice in terms of like if somebody wanted to reach out to a shop in their city, like kind of how to negotiate that or kind of like how to keep the flow of passing along your orders to them or anything?
Yeah, that's actually really good. Really good. Like I never even thought about that. That's actually really good. That's actually pretty good. Like because if you can speed up like the processing time and all that stuff on your Etsy store, it's like I'm getting shirts out faster than Amazon, merch by Amazon, and they have Prime. You know what I mean? So if you guys think about it that way, it's like, dude, like I'm offering faster shipping times to my customer. Most important thing, like I said, is the print quality, because you don't want your customer to get like a horrible shirt. Like you don't want the print quality to be horrible. And number 2 is the shipping. And number 3 is customer service. If you can lock those down, I'm telling you, you can crush like anything. But and of course the customer has to like the design first of all. But that's the most important thing when it comes to Etsy. Like on the back end, you want to make sure that's good. Everything, all those 3 things are good right there. But for the most part, if you can make a relationship with anyone local and talk to them and stuff like that, because I know they have the same idea. They understand the business model. They understand all that part. So when you go in there, you're not talking to someone like they don't know what's going on. They probably might even be selling on Etsy. So if you build that relationship with them, that's actually pretty good. That was a really good, like a good question right there, a good statement. But yeah, if you do that, do it. That'd be pretty cool.
Someone was asking about unicorn smashers. So I think that's kind of a good transition. So in terms of like tools, I know on your website you have some tools and things that you list. So you know what? Two things right here. I'm gonna get you started. I've had too much coffee, so I'm gonna get you started on a question. I'm gonna run to the restroom right here, and I'm gonna hurry back. But can you talk a little bit about what tools you're using in terms of, I guess, for everything from analytics to storing designs to anything else? I'm gonna get you started there, and I'll be right back.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So everyone, so what I do is, so when it comes to tools, I'm a big fan of free tools when starting out. I'm always about like you wanna. It's already easier. It's already easier for us. It's easier for us to start an online business. Okay, I'm a big thing, like anything when it comes to any type of tools, like you want to use like all the free tools out there as possible until you start growing. And once you start growing, then you can kind of start investing into tools and stuff like that. But I'm a big fan of starting with free stuff. I do have a video that I made about a couple days ago on this, what tools I use, and then it's also on my blog too as well. Tools as in, I use Merch Research. It's a free tool that you just highlight the keyword on a listing, and then you right click and you show all merch. And what that does is actually for that keyword in every single listing on Merch by Amazon, it will actually pop up all the actual shirts that are ranking for that keyword. So that's a pretty cool tool, and it kind of gives you an idea of what's selling, and then you can kind of just understand that niche a little bit better. There's, let me see what else is there. Oh, so there's that. I'm pretty sure this is a big one too. Is DS Amazon Quick View. That's actually a good one because you can see it when you go. So when you go on that, when you search for that keyword, you can see all the BSR ranks without actually clicking on the listing. So that's pretty big. There's a tool called Purdy Merch. That's a cool tool because on your back end on Merch by Amazon, it actually makes it look all nice and pretty, and it helps with the workflow because you can see like the top shirts that sold for the last 30 days. You can show all the shirts that sold today, and then also too as well, you can actually click back like 3 days ago, and you can see all the shirts that sold that day. It kind of just gives you a better understanding. And then there's a really big one that's actually really good. I highly recommend this one. It's called AMZ Suggestion Expander. Okay, so what that tool does is like and that one's free. So when if you don't have it, you need to get it right now. When you go onto the Amazon search bar, let's say you're just searching, like, so you're trying to get keyword ideas, and then you type in, let's say you type in French Bulldog, and then when you type in French Bulldog, sometimes they'll pop up like shirt sayings and stuff like that. So it kind of is showing a demand on Amazon, like this customer actually came in, but it'll show you like auto suggestion will show like 20 different sayings on that actual search term when you search it. So it'll give you other people search for this and stuff like that, and it'll kind of just pop up a lot of stuff. And that's very big right there because it helps with your keyword research. It helps with new if you're gonna try to find a new niche, it helps with that. So that's very big too as well. Let me see what else. I use Keepa. If you guys are not aware of that, if you guys Amazon FBA, you guys are aware of Keepa. It kind of shows you like there's a demand for this shirt. This shirt's been selling for over 300 days or whatever. And that is pretty much it. That's all I use right there. And the other paid tool that I use, there's a paid tool that I use. It's $10 a month. It's let's see where it is right here. Amazon Merch Baster, or not Baster, Batcher. Oh, sorry, Batcher. And basically what that does is like copies like all the bullet points and stuff like that. And then when I go, it open up multiple tabs. So basically what it does, it copies everything in the listing for me. Like say if I'm going through one niche and I have multiple tabs open, I want to go into, then I click over to the next listing, the next tab. I can copy everything in there for the far as the bullet points and the brand and redo the title. So, but it saves me so much time right there.
You know what's the name of that tool?
So if you have Merch Informer, they have it with it for free, and then the other one is Amazon Merch Batcher, copy and paste.
You know, it's probably pretty similar. I've been using, I think someone gave it to me for free, so I started playing around with it. And I think after that, Merch Informer came out with their thing. But I've been using it. I think it's called Merch Buddy, and it's something similar. I can copy and paste my colors as well as like titles, tags, descriptions, all with one click. Yeah.
And then also too, there's open multiple URLs. So what I do is like say if I have 30 designs that I have to upload. I'll just click that and I'll just press open, and then I'll open up 30 tabs for me real fast. And that's pretty cool and fast.
That's a huge time saver, man. I went from like, I can probably do 100 shirts in what it used to take me to do like 10 or 15 with some of those tools. And then I guess just kind of piggybacking off what you said, I realize software start to add up, and a lot of us have something for Amazon and something for eBay. But I think Merch Informer is, for what you get for the money, you get the analytic tool. I wasn't even aware of the upload tool, but you get the upload tool. They kind of have a dumbed down designer for text designs. They have resources. I mean, the bang for your buck for $9.99 or whatever it is insane with them.
Yeah, no, it is. You can do a lot of stuff on there. You can design. You can even design on there too now as well. But just looking at, just seeing what's selling and stuff like that gives you a better idea, and like every single niche, and then just coming and dominate with you just getting ideas to help you make an illustration and stuff like that. It's pretty big. So. Now,
I was going to ask you a couple things about kind of break off a little bit from merch and kind of talk about YouTube and some other things. But I was going to, for everyone hanging out, if you guys have any questions for RJ about merch or really anything, go ahead and drop those, and we're going to cover a couple other things, and then we'll come back and kind of hit those questions before we wrap up. So in terms of like some other hustles and things like that, I saw you have something about Airbnb on your channel. So I don't know if you manage properties or anything, but what's some other things you want to get into? What are some other kind of hustles? What's kind of the vision for your YouTube channel?
Yeah, basically my YouTube channel. So with the Airbnb part, that's all my buddy. He's he met this month. We're supposed to kind of go take care of some things, but we had 2 Airbnb houses, and that's all him. And this is all me. And I was like, well, when you want me to help you out, then I'll help you out. But he's like, hey, can you help me this month? So I'm gonna help him a little bit this month. I've been wanting to make some content around that, but I haven't got around to it. Just I don't know. I don't want no competition in the kind of like in the area where I'm at. And
right.
So, you know what I mean? Because the competition, that means less. You know what I mean? Less money, and this like the scalability of it. But for my YouTube all my content on there, just kind of just helping people. Pretty much with the print on demand, but I know a lot about Amazon FBA. I know a lot about like the wholesaling side of it. I know pretty much a lot of stuff. This is what actually helped me with Merch by Amazon and print on demand and stuff like that. Well, next thing I want to get into is probably like, so the Etsy store, and then I've been trying to focus on like journals and stuff with KDP. Are you aware of that? Any of that?
You know what? I've followed a lot of people doing that stuff, and I haven't really broken into it myself. But I saw like Merch Minds had a segment on that, and it kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah, it's there's a few people on there that are crushing it. It's actually something pretty good because like literally you upload it. It's kind of almost like merch. You upload a design, like a design for the cover, and then like the templates. There's templates out there that you can purchase, and then there's kind of just like an automation process next. You just kind of just focus on the cover, upload different types of journals and stuff like that, and that's pretty much it. And there's people that are actually doing really good out there, and they don't have to worry about the returns. They don't have to worry about customer service. And that's another thing too. It's like there's more of a demand for I want to say a book than a shirt. So that's something that I've been paying attention to. I was kind of see the demand, like what's a shirt versus a book. Like where's the demand at? And I think a book has more of a demand than a shirt. Because it's just like for schools and stuff like that and purchasing, like if you can kind of just see in that type of like area, because there's schools that will buy like $150, like they'll buy 100 to just at one time they'll buy $100. Like I have one book that sold and someone came in about 25 of them, and I'm just like, wow, okay. But like the profit margins are not there, but compared to like the sales ratio, like I only have like about 60 or 70 up, and I'm averaging over like 100 book sales a month. I'm just like, okay. You know what I mean?
Now, do you have any desire to start like kind of like a personal brand or kind of your own line of things to put like, I think once you get to 10K, which is probably going to be happening in the next couple of weeks here, you're going to get the whole Printful integration where you can advertise your shirts under. Like, do you have any aspiration to do kind of like a personal kind of like either RJ hustles or just kind of a passion project type thing, or are you like kind of keeping it to merch and that?
That's what I wanted to do. I kind of just wanted to just like in a way kind of just with my blog. I wanted to offer people like sayings that I say. People, when I say some certain things, they'll message me, and you know what I mean. They'll message me up like, I'll start a video like, yo, what's going on, everyone? And then there's people like, yo, I watched your video. You know what I mean? So something like that, to kind of give them, like, they can go to my blog and purchase it and stuff like that as I grow, because I'm passionate about this. Like, I wake up every morning and I enjoy learning, you know, I enjoy doing that. And I enjoy helping people too. Because it feels good too. That's another thing that gives you, it feels good when people accomplish something and then they like tag you like, hey, thank you, RJ. I appreciate it. Like, this means the world to me. You helped me out a lot. I'm like, cool. That's cool. All right, come over here and buy a shirt for 10 or 20 bucks and then take a picture with it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what's kind of cool about your channel is that's one of the, I think I was watching, I think it was the outsourcing one, but you could tell you were like kind of a little bit emotional, but you could tell like you actually kind of care about helping people, and that's kind of, you can tell that's kind of a passion of yours and part of the reason for the channel, which I think is really cool as well. Yeah,
no, it's always been a, dude, as a kid, I wanted to be a firefighter as a kid because I wanted to help people. Now, like, I you know what I mean? That's still in the back of my mind, believe it or not. As I was like, dude, I'm not sure what I'm trying to accomplish, but when I accomplish it, do I want to be a firefighter still? You know, at first, because I love helping people, like I love saving people. And now, but if you really think about it, I'm doing it here now. Like, you know what I mean? I'm actually helping people. Like, for December, they're crushing it on Merch by Amazon, and they're actually helping their family and changing their lifestyle. You know, they're putting presents underneath a Christmas tree, or if they're just having a good month, you know what I mean? Because some people don't celebrate Christmas, but it's a good feeling when they're buying their kids like stuff that they couldn't afford last year because of Merch by Amazon and because of the content I put out. And they're doing all the work, don't get me wrong, but just to help them, direct them in that way, and they understand like, hey, you're helping me out, and I appreciate that. And now I'm like having dinner with the family and stuff because of that. That's a cool feeling, you know? So that's yeah.
Yeah, you know what's really kind of neat about that is I don't know if you're the same way at all, but like people in my personal life, if I see that somebody has some skill set, or like my girlfriend's brother, he's a real good, you know, drawer and artist and things like that. And I'm always trying to encourage people I know to get some side hustle going or monetize their hobbies. And most people in my real life, you know, they're busy with their stuff. They don't really have an interest in it. So it's like kind of like YouTube's a place whoever will listen to me here, I can kind of come share all this stuff. And it's kind of funny when, you know, you kind of introduce somebody has all the skills needed to kind of make something like this work, but maybe they didn't even know print on demand was something that existed, and they would, you know, otherwise probably not go out and shell out thousands of dollars to, you know, buy 100 t-shirts. So it's kind of cool when you turn somebody onto something and they realize, okay, I can use my skill sets to actually make some money with this.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing too. A lot of people don't understand that. Still don't understand it. And I'm just like, dude. And like, I had a buddy that was over here the other night, and he was like, I can draw anything. And I was like, what? I was like, you can basically do anything you want with like a drawing. You can draw anything. You're very creative. And I was like, just do what I'm like. If I could do that, I would dominate so much. Like, I'll dominate faster, you know? So, but I don't know how to do that. I suck at it. And I really don't like to say like, I don't know how to do that, because I feel like I can do anything. That's because of your mindset. You know what I mean? Once you get to the next level and your mindset's on a whole different level, you're not normal in a way, you know what I mean? Because you're like, okay, before you used to be like, okay, let me follow everybody and see what I can do. But now you're like, no, I can do this on my own. And, you know, so it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm surprised, like a lot of people out there that don't understand this, like Merch by Amazon, like you're not printing a shirt. You're not taking care of customer service. You're not figuring out, okay, I'm running out of low stock on the purple shirt, so I have to restock and call the manufacturer and have another 200 shirts shipped over here so I can print them. No, you don't have to worry about that. So if you once you understand that, that's like powerful. So.
Well, you know what's kind of cool that you just said, and I think this is one of the awesome features about print on demand is I kind of work with a brand on the side, and I kind of do their social media and manage an affiliate program for them and some of that stuff. And they're actually like a health and beauty kind of skincare line, but they've rolled out a brand of merch that they also sell on their sites. And I know a lot of other people, like if you're wanting to set up a store and you're sourcing stuff from Alibaba, you know, it's not cheap to buy inventory. So maybe all you have is a backpack, and whereas otherwise your store might be a little bit bland with that one product, like Printful, you know, Your Buddy, Printify, whatever, like you can roll out leggings and socks, and you can really kind of fill out a store without really having to commit yourself to inventory.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good too as well. Like a lot of people don't understand that. They're still stuck in like 2 years ago. Oh no, I have to source it from Alibaba. No, but once you generate that profit, like you generate that income from it, like if you want to get it from cheaper, you can order 1,000 products from Alibaba if you want to. But if you just want to keep on going and going and going, you can do that too. But that's another thing too. I was focusing like, man, should I get my own printer? And I was talking to Dion Baker, and she's like, I interviewed her on my channel the other day about the Etsy and stuff, and she's like, no, like, why would you do that? It's going to be so much work, RJ. Focus on making $5,000-$6,000 a day. And I was like, what about the $2,000, the $1,000 a day? You know what I mean? But she's like on a whole nother, you can do that. Come out with your own stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Build everything up. And I was like, okay, slow down. Let me get to the $1,000, $2,000 a day first. So.
Now, with the stickers, I meant to follow up with you. How are you pricing your stickers on Redbubble? And I also like the sticker idea too, because I mean, you know, there's some money on. I got my thing up to like 200%, so at least it's a couple bucks a sticker as opposed to 30 cents. But also, like you said about sourcing stickers, I mean, you can get stickers for like 6 cents, 10 cents a piece. So if you can prove it sells and buy them, the margins are just insane.
That's another thing too. That's what I'm trying to like, dude. Like this is like a game changer right here for sure. Because like, you get a sticker, and then the shipping is stupid cheap because it's not even like an ounce or whatever. It's not even heavy at all.
You probably do like a stamp.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing too. Well, on Redbubble, I'm pricing them at $100. I mean, not $100, 100%, and then everything else is at 25%. I had it at 300%. And it was making sales, but I was like, I wanted to test something going into this month, and put everything at. I had saw everything, all my products at 40, and my stickers were at 300%. So I put everything down at 25% and 100%. And this is something that I figured out the other day too. If you guys are doing Redbubble, if you haven't created a Google Analytics account, you can actually plug in your coding and put it on the back of Redbubble. And Redbubble will actually do free Google shopping ads for you. So that's actually a game changer, and it tracks everything on the back end of Google. So when you put in your code, it takes about, I think they said 2 to 3 days, and then you go over on Google later on, and it shows you like the traffic that you're getting from Google. So that's pretty big right there. So if you haven't did that, do that.
You know what? I've heard about that kind of that theory that, you know, Redbubble spends a ton of money on Google shopping ads, and I never realized that you had to plug in the your Google Analytics code. So I'm gonna have to go. As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go create another property and pop that in there.
Yeah, you have to.
Something that I've been kind of personally sleeping on, but I've heard people doing well is, what's the deal? Maybe you know a little bit more about this. What's the deal with people selling? I don't know if they're selling like not actually selling tangible items, but actually selling like the art files and things like that. Are you kind of hip to that?
I was on an interview the other day. It was like the digital, like the download file, right?
Right.
Yeah. I heard people making, because I guess they're going on there and actually buying the actual art file and then like having it print at their local provider or something like that. I guess there's margins right there. I guess I'm not sure. I know someone. His name is Spencer from I think it's Lifestyle Podcast. He's doing that, and he's actually doing really well. Like the margins are like, well, I think it's like whatever it is, like 100% or whatever it is, because it's downloading the file. That's it, and you just give it to them. That's actually something to look at. I was actually looking at see if there's a demand for it. It seems like there's a demand for it because I see a lot of people that actually go on Etsy, buy that actual that file, and they come over here to Merch by Amazon and throw it up. I'm just like, dude, what the heck? So that's something to think about. Like, so like let's say for example, like I have my artist do a really good illustration, and then I'll come over to Etsy and see if the demand's there. You know what I mean? Selling it for $30. It's like, in a way, you think about it, it's like cutting out Fiverr. Like, say if you, because there's a hustle there too. Because if you have an illustrator that can do anything, and you know a lot about the market, like you go on Fiverr and be like, hey, I have these designs. So it's basically kind of like cutting out Fiverr and putting it up there on Etsy yourself, and the customer goes over there and buys it, and they can put it on shirts or any type of print on demand.
You know what's really, really kind of funny about what you just said is when I was at Ecom Chicago, there was a woman who had a couple design businesses and also was like selling her actual designs. But that's something I'd kind of thought about doing too, is because I'm paying my designer full time essentially, and at times there's probably I probably don't even have enough work for them. I was thinking about subsidizing that by either having him create like vector packs to sell, or outsourcing his designs where, okay, if you want to use my guy, give me $10 to design, $15 to design. And, whereas I might be paying a guy $500 a month. Okay, maybe I make 300 off other people utilizing him. And then it's only costing me 200 a month to get all my stuff.
No, then that's another thing too. A lot of people don't understand that. Like when you have it outsourced and you have a designer, people that actually pay for designs and stuff like that, and like in the United States, they're paying like 30, or they can be anywhere between 50 to or 30 to $100 up there. You know what I mean? Maybe even more sometimes. So if you can kind of like figure out a way to kind of go in like in the Facebook market or Craigslist or anything like that, like your local Facebook market, and kind of just take over the designing for that area, like you probably do some damage. Or something to look at too is like any of like if you see like new houses being built anywhere and stuff like that, then most likely that means other businesses are coming. So they need designs, they need stuff like that. So that's actually something to think about too. That's actually really good.
Well, you know what's kind of cool about that is I saw like Wandering Marine was talking about maybe getting some like channel art and stuff done, and Fiverr is kind of crap quality. OnlineJobs.ph is $69. So going to source a designer just for one design. So yeah, I mean, or even with the house example or something like that, okay, I'm another English speaker. We can communicate well. You want to design, kick $15 at me, and we'll get you a quality design. It's kind of mutually beneficial there.
Yeah, you could probably that would be good too. Just create a video on creating channel art for people on YouTube that are starting out.
Now, another thing I noticed, I don't know if are you still pretty active? I did the Gumroad thing a while back too, and I was going to start getting heavier into that. But I kind of like what you got going, where you got some of your own files and things like that you use that for a pretty small fee, with $10 or whatever, they can kind of get those things. Are you still pretty active on there?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on there. I do pretty well on there.
And Gumroad, for anyone who's watching, Gumroad's a pretty cool tool. It's, a lot of people are doing, a lot of people look at things like Teachable. I mean, this is kind of more digital courses, but Gumroad is a free thing to use. You can upload digital files. So whether you wanted to sell vector packs, if you have an Excel file like RJ that you use to kind of organize your designs, you can sell these kind of digital things on there, and it's pretty passive because everything just gets auto-delivered when somebody buys it. There's embed code, so you can embed it right onto your WordPress site or whatever. So Gumroad's a pretty cool, pretty cool platform if you're wanting to sell files or anything like that.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. And it's a very like user friendly too, so it's not all confusing. You can create a file like within 30 seconds and have it up for sale, and a person can buy it, and then you can actually create affiliates for other people. Like give them a percentage off, and that's pretty cool too as well. So.
Now, I know you're, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here. I know you're kind of all over the place. I see you do a lot of interviews. I've heard you talk about conferences. How are you finding out about all this stuff? And then how does that benefit you, I guess, in terms of kind of making connections in these communities and, kind of all that type of stuff?
Well, honestly, like they just like with the communities and stuff like that, like Chris Green, he invited me over to the merch conference. Last one wanted me to speak on a stage. We actually talked about it. We're at I forgot where we're at. We're in Vegas at the ASD. I forgot what it is. That's there's like a licensing. It's like a licensing show. So we're all over there. We're all hanging out. Merch by Amazon was there, and this is how we met Miguel for the first time. He's the head of merch, and they kind of had what they were doing. Merch by Amazon was actually going out there and talking to some of these licensing, like trying to get licensing and stuff like that. And we actually had like a private meeting upstairs, and we're all there, and the head of merch and a lot of people were there, and we're just talking and going over things and stuff like that. And they pay attention inside the merch community. Like I have a big Facebook group, and they're in there. They're paying attention to what people are saying and following and everything. They know who I am and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But they're just like connections like that, little things like that, kind of just like they know who you are and stuff like that. You're trying to help people make the platform a better platform and helping them out. So they see that as like that's what they see. They're seeing that you're trying to make an effort to make the platform better and trying to stop people from doing all this like crazy infringement and stuff and all that. So I look with the conferences and stuff like that. I really don't benefit too much for it. I don't make any type of like money off of it at all. It's more about networking and kind of seeing who you can meet and stuff like that. That's why with this YouTube, that's how I met my buddy. He's actually helping with all my printing and stuff like that. But he followed my YouTube channel. And it's kind of like the same thing with the YouTube channel. It's kind of like you're making connections with people, and they're kind of seeing who you are, and they want to connect with you more because they appreciate who you are, and they see what you're trying to do. So that's how I met him. He actually messaged me like, hey, on Instagram, he's like, hey, I want to do all your printing for you because you actually helped me and my father out with our business, and I want to return the favor for you. So stuff like that, just networking with people, connecting with people, and just seeing how people think, and just it makes you better in a way. Kind of
funny. I had kind of a funny story. Is that I didn't really know who Chris Green was, and I happened to mention him one time just because I think I'd seen something. I was like, I heard Chris Green say this, and man, all these people fucking bit my head off, and I don't know why. Like some people seem to dislike him. Man, I met him at Ecom Chicago. Nicest dude in the world, man. Like he sat down with me for about 45 minutes, talked to me about merch. Kind of gave me a little bit of a pep talk. Actually, I happen to have that on my desk. He was handing out free books, signed one of the books, but he's a good dude, man. I actually really like him.
Yeah, no, he's actually he's pretty cool. I was like, we're at the conference, and me and him were just talking, and he's just like real cool, down to earth. And people come up, like when I'm with him, other kid come up talking to him. It's like kind of just like at him real fast, and he's like, dude, don't you ever do that, okay? And I was like, what? He's like, you dude, she just came up to me and just like started drilling me right away. Like, that's not normal. Like, you shouldn't do that type of stuff. And I was like, man, I wouldn't do that. And it's like, and we went and had a drink at the bar, and we're just hanging out and stuff like that. So he's really down to earth. And me and him been in the same kind of like same circle for about probably like 3 or 4 years. And I actually told him, I was like, hey, dude, I actually purchased your first book. Or the FBA, the retail arbitrage book, and I actually got that. And he's, oh, cool, thanks, man, I appreciate it. And then ever since then, he's just like been real cool with me. We've been real cool. He was like, hey, if you want to speak on stage, let me know. I'll get you at the conference, and I'll take care of you. Just come. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you know what's kind of cool? He's got his like 11-year-old son doing pretty well on merch and publishing books, and I thought that was really kind of cool. Getting your kids involved in kind of this stuff. And obviously, kids are really creative. They know what normally kids are ahead of the trends in terms of what other kids want. So yeah, I thought that was kind of clever as well.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. That's like I said, like a lot of people. Some people get like they don't like them. I'm not sure why exactly, but I think it's just more about there's just people just think differently. Because I get that too all the time. I get people that come and rush me, and they're just like, oh, you don't answer me this, you don't answer me this, you're not helping me here. I'm just like, dude, you're not even respecting like what I'm doing today. And how you gonna want me to respect you, and you're not even respecting me? So then no, like you don't like, you just, I don't know, you don't go in someone's DMs and just start drilling them right away and stuff like that. You want to see how they're doing and stuff. You know what I mean? Make that connection and see what you can do to help out. Now this one guy, he messaged me, I'm not gonna say his name, but he's in my messenger all the time, just always active in the community. And he's like, is there anything I can do to help you? Just let me know. Every single time we talk, and I'm just like, all right, dude. Like in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what? Like I'm gonna need you one of these days, and I'm gonna want you to help me out. And once we get to that level, so that's pretty cool that people do that type of stuff. So
now, are there any interesting conferences or anything coming up that anyone should be aware of, or you have anything that you're going to be attending or anything like that, or any conferences that you'd recommend that kind of happen yearly?
Right now, really nothing. Really nothing. I think we're gonna throw a mastermind. We're not even sure if I'm supposed to talk about it, but we're gonna throw a mastermind at the in the beginning of March. It's gonna be just invite only. We're just because it comes a time and a point. I'm not trying to say like, because it's cool to have a conference, but it's like from the most part, from what I see, it's like it's all over the place. I think when you go to a conference, you want to learn something. You want to get something valuable from it. Kind of just don't want your mind going this way and your mind going this way. And you're just like, okay, I didn't take in nothing. That first 3 hours of a conference is like the hardest. After like the fourth hour, you're like done. I'm like, I'm done for the day. So kind of just what we're kind of focused on is more mastermind conferences where we actually like a workshop. We come there, we learn something, we're like in it together, little groups, and kind of just go over like shops and stuff like that, Etsy shops or your Merch by Amazon account and stuff like that. Actually working with like the one-on-one with you. I think that's something that's very important. Like I don't see a lot of people doing that, and I think that's big because it's cool to have 100 people at a conference, but we're like, is that going to help me make more money? Like we want to make more money and just kind of just help you grow and stuff like that. So that's very important to me as an individual and to actually help others out too as well. So it's all about that growth, man. I think that's one of the most important things. And if you have 300 people in a room, I'm just like, overwhelmed sometimes. So kind of just want to keep it small. And I think the goal is, my buddy Matt, our goal is to kind of just we're see how this one goes, and then kind of just if we can do three or 2 or 3 a year, that would be pretty cool. And just kind of just small groups and stuff like that, and just have people come.
Now, let me ask you, I'm kind of backtracking a little bit here, but in terms of, I know we kind of talked about like personal brands and things like that, and I think that's something that a lot of people have an interest in, whether the brand be based around them or even just kind of like a passion interest of theirs, so a sport, a hobby, they want to create something. Something that I run into is, you know, when it comes to me doing my own YouTube channel art, and like right now I have like 4 crappy shirts up below this video or whatever. It's kind of one of those things where, like, if you're helping somebody else out with your resume, you have all these ideas. When it comes to doing it about yourself, you kind of freeze up and can't say anything. Do you have any advice for a lot of people who are wanting to kind of start their own personal line in terms of like coming up with a brand, or just kind of any thoughts on that?
With like a, okay, I'm trying to
like, I thought you were kind of clever with what you said, with where you have phrases, because I did an interview recently with a dude by the name of Nick the Smoker, and I forget what his line is, but he kind of has an opening line. And there's another guy, Philip Solo TV. He's kind of got a funny channel, but his thing's like, here's a scoop, guys. So he's got kind of that shirt. So I thought that was kind of clever how with you with like the yo, but kind of being able to kind of look into yourself to kind of come up with kind of a brand image or a.
That's actually because like a lot of you just kind of just, when it comes to that, I think it's about opening up more and showing more of your personality. Because it's like when you're around your friends and stuff like that, you open up more and you're talking and stuff like that. And then there's like that one funny thing that you always say over and over and over and over. And you got to do the same. You got to kind of like interact the same way with YouTube. I think that's one of the most important. Like when your audience, you interact with them more. Now, for most people, it's pretty hard to do that because they don't it's like they don't want to get on the camera. They don't want to show their face or anything like that. But a lot of people don't understand. Like every single person is their own brand. They do things their own way, and I think that's very big for you to understand that, because like a lot of my YouTube videos. When I first started YouTube, I always thought, I was like, man, I suck. But I was like, you know what? Who cares if I suck? At least I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I'm getting out there and I'm trying, and I'm gonna make this work. And it's not like I'm smart. I'm pretty well, like I have a lot of knowledge in my head, and sometimes I'm not good at speaking it and saying it and it kind of explaining it to people. But for like, I'm getting better at it. Maybe it might take me 1,000 videos, but once I get there, I'll do it, and I'll get better at it, hopefully.
Well, you know what? I really like that you said that. That's really kind of relatable, because I have my channel is weird. I have a huge number of subscribers, and I don't have as much engagement. I don't know if that's because I spread across a lot of areas, and also I had one like kind of viral video that did like 2 million views. But it comes up quite often. People will be like, how the fuck does this guy have 84,000 subscribers and only 100 people watch this? And like, people will talk shit, and I'll be like, sometimes they'll get me down or whatever. And I'll be like, fuck you. How many subscribers do you? Like, at least I'm putting myself out there. And when you do that, eventually something is going to click. So it's kind of very relatable to hear that, not everyone's like super comfortable in front of the camera, but you just, you put yourself out there, and the more you do it, the better you get and the more comfortable you get. And
I have a video editor, and he did one of my edits on my videos, and I was like, dude, if it wasn't for you, I would suck. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like you made me, like, when I say this, and I'm just like, okay, you cut all that out. It made it seem like I didn't say and I'm just like, thank you, man. You make everything seem so crisp and clean. I appreciate that. That means a lot. And he's like, no problem. That's all. You're gonna give me long-term work? I'm like, yeah, I'll give you long-term work. Just help me grow this. So that's another thing too, is just the growing process. I noticed on my YouTube channel, when I started doing a little bit of vlogging, people like my subscribers for the month started going down. I was like, oh no. Okay. I'm kind of going off with my audience. I just keep on creating content, providing stuff for people. That's my audience, you know. Just helping people out and stuff. And I started doing a little bit of vlogging, but the only time I'm gonna do a vlog now is like when I'm going to a conference, just kind of just interacting with people and stuff and meeting new people and stuff. I think that's a very big thing. So I like to show that part of vlogging and just going to dinner like with a lot of big, like Reezy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's I talk to him a lot, and he's doing all the like his content and stuff like that, and he just tells me, just keep on going, man, just keep on going. And I follow a lot of your content too, just with the merch by Amazon. I kind of come across your videos like when I want to watch stuff, and I'll listen to some of your content too as well, and just kind of I like to see different point of views, different perspectives and stuff like that. So yeah, you're really pretty good at explaining stuff.
I think Reezy's awesome, and we've been kind of friendly for a while, and he's always reaching out to me to do stuff. I have to do something with him because up until recently, I never really did live streams. I was always kind of nervous on going on them, and I was kind of intimidated by Reezy. But yeah, he's a good dude, and he's been connecting with me for a while. So now that I kind of got a little bit of experience under my belt, I got to get him on here because I know he's kind of got a lot to share as well. I guess one other thing I was kind of wondering about. I noticed you got your website, and that's something that I'm kind of trying to work on myself. Are you going to try to build out kind of like a home base to be kind of like your place where all these social things revolve around, and you can, I don't know, post updates, or just kind of have a home place? Are you going to continue building that out?
Yeah. So basically, what I want to do with my actual personal website, it just kind of I know there's two different audiences. There's when it comes to there's a person that likes to watch a video, and there's a person that likes to read an article. So what I'm doing is every YouTube video that I post, I'm going to make a blog about it. And then I just kind of keep it that way. And it's kind of tell a little bit more about myself on there, and like an article, like people like to read articles, like I said. Just want to grow that out. All my social stuff on there. And then obviously just kind of open up my own little shop on there too, where people can like purchase a shirt or something like that, or purchase a hat. I'm a big person on hats. I like wearing hats and stuff like that, and just any type of headgear and stuff. So I'm big on that. But yeah, with the blog part, I'm just trying to. I want to grow that. I really suck at writing and stuff. I need to get a little bit better at doing that. But I think over time, that's who I am. And if you don't like it, then you can't. There's nothing I can do for you.
Are you doing anything like podcast wise? Are you putting Real Talk out on podcasts at all?
Yeah, we have it on iTunes.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get it over on Spotify. I have a guy that I've been working with to kind of help streamline that a little bit better for me. So I think that's big right there because there's two different audiences. There's iPhone and there's Android. So there's something that right there I kind of skipped that part. I was like, dude, how come I didn't upload to like Spotify or any other type of like any other platform? So I need to get those on there.
Well, it seems like we're kind of on the same wavelength. So with what you were saying with the blog, if I'm going to take the time to make a video, why not turn that content into the written form for people who enjoy it that way? And I've also been kind of sleeping on the podcast thing, and Jack Knight Finnegan, who I don't know if he's still in, he was in a little bit earlier, turned me on to that Anchor.fm. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've heard of that or played around with it, but I mean, it's stupid easy. You can create the whole podcast on your phone, and I've literally been like probably later on today, I'll take this interview that we did with like one click of a button. I can throw like kind of a little DJ backspin. I can throw an intro in there, and they actually syndicated across everything, across Apple, Android, Spotify, all the different platforms. So that's kind of a neat thing if you're looking for something to kind of assist with that.
Instead of Anchor FM.
Yeah, Anchor.fm. I think Gary Vee's been promoted in pre-rolls. The downside to it is you lose like a little bit of control. It's obviously got some Anchor branding and things like that, but you're not having to pay to host the thing. And also they do all the syndication for you. And they actually have something sort of like AdSense in a sense that they'll start bringing you advertisers to where you're getting paid per view. I think it's about like a $10 CPM. So eventually, I mean, if it takes off, if I enjoy the podcasting, I might go with Libsyn or whatever some of the other guys are using. But just in terms of a way to start doing it, I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I actually pulled up right here. I'll check that out right after the show. And yeah, that's pretty cool. And I was looking for something like that. I was like, man, what do I use? Because I was using SoundCloud.
Okay.
And I was like, man, there has to be something easier than this, and it's just, but I couldn't find nothing. But I'll check that out, Anchor FM.
When it's kind of neat how they wrap everything up too, because like it was like, do you want ads? And I'm like, yeah. And so they give you a script. So they're like, read this. So I'm like, if you're looking to start a podcast, you know, they give you a little script and you can kind of deviate from it. But yeah, I mean, everything from music. If you and me wanted to do one, and we wanted to patch somebody in, like with one button, we could call Reezy and pull Reezy in on it. If you wanted to do a call-in show, they have a feature where you can have people call in. I know Reezy does something cool where he has people call in and ask questions. So if you wanted to kind of add that aspect to it, you can do that. So yeah, a lot of really, really neat stuff.
Because again, we started another show too. We do it like weekly. We've been trying to do it weekly. We've been skipping like a week sometimes. But it's the Average Joe merch show. And what that is just like we're helping newbies that like when they're coming, they're new, like tier 10, tier 100 or whatever, tier 25. They come in and we kind of just go over 3 designs with them live, and we throw the actual so we go over live 3 designs and kind of like tell them what they can do better on their listing, on what they're designing and stuff like that. And just kind of just have a whole conversation with them, give them feedback on all their stuff. And if they have any questions, they can ask us on the live. And there's 4 of us. There's Matt Carlett, Young Jong, and then there's Matt Shearing, and then there's me. And then we have 4 different perspectives. There's 4 of us. So sometimes we don't agree and sometimes we do. So it's pretty cool that we kind of just started this show and then kind of we see like how we all think differently. So that's actually something that we actually have a YouTube channel for that too as well. Just Average Joe merch show. And
now who's your partner on Real Talk?
Matt.
Like who's he's a good dude. I like him. Who's he and kind of what's his background? How did you guys meet?
He actually, so with the Eclipse, I think it was last year, the Eclipse, or was it the year before? The year before. In 2017, the Eclipse, he actually heard me on Reezy's show. I went on Reezy's show and I was actually on the show and I was talking and just telling everybody a little bit about merch by Amazon. And I'm going to be on a show again. I think it's on April 1st, April Fool's Day. And I was just talking about merch by Amazon, and he actually started doing it. And then he had a shirt that actually took off, and he did like over 12K in profit, like his 2nd month. And he was like, this shirt's going crazy. And he just messaged me, and then I got him on my YouTube channel, interviewed him. And then like the next week, he was like, dude, let's start our own show. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, we'll do it on your channel. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't want to do that. And then he's like, come on, man. If we get the audience loves you, let's do it. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do live shows. I'm okay. I don't want to dedicate I don't want to take a week out of my, you know what I mean? To do it every single week. And he's like, come on. And then I was like, all right, let's start doing it. And the next thing you know, we're just having fun now. We're just having fun with it now and just enjoying it. And what we wanted to do this year with Real Talk is actually bring in different people. Like we kind of just turn it into more of an online e-commerce entrepreneur business type of show. And then we're going to flip that and turn it into a podcast. So that's what we did. So we had Nate McAllister on last week, and he was doing about blogging, and he's crushing it with blogging. Like he does that full time, and that's just like his full income, like his full-time income. So he's really good. If you guys haven't seen that episode, go check that one out. He's doing really well with that, and kind of just seeing how he thinks. And he's actually met him at the merch conference, and he's a really good guy, really cool, down to earth. That's actually someone that you should really get on. He's really cool, down to earth, and he just I don't know, like you couldn't even tell that he's doing 6 figures with blogging or anything like that. He's just real quiet, and I'm just like, this guy's cool. And then just kind of just opened up to him. He's real humble and just real down to earth.
You know what's nice? I really liked, like, not only did I learn a ton from that episode, but also it kind of reinforced a lot of practices that I've kind of gotten lazy about. And the way he explained everything, it wasn't overwhelming at all. It was always like, you know, here's why we're doing this. Here's why we're building the email list. I think he shared the tip about like buying a domain and forwarding it to your YouTube channel so that somebody doesn't have to type in youtube.com/. They can just type in, you know, hustledaily.com, and it takes them right to the YouTube. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool one. And then kind of piggybacking off that previous point of just networking and things. I mean, it sounds like going on Reezy's show is kind of what led to you meeting a guy who you now have this kind of weekly show with. So it's kind of cool how everything kind of, you make all these connections, and, you know, maybe you can share resources or whatever else. That's always neat as well.
Yeah. He's my buddy. He's actually has one video. It's Matt, his YouTube channel is Merch Elephant, and he has one YouTube video on there that's actually doing really well. It's some really good content on there. It's like what to know when you start merch by Amazon. I think that's his name of it. And he has that video just has over like I think 90K in views already, and over like 1K thumbs up, and just the engagement on that video is really good. So that's when you have a good engagement, all that stuff like that, that means like the content is really good on there. So if you guys haven't checked that out, go and check that out. That's some pretty good stuff right there.
We noted that unless you have anything else to add, I know we've been on for a while. I'm sure you probably got some work to do today and things like that. So I figure we can kind of wrap it up. Is there anything you want to leave these guys with in terms of where they can follow you, and anything that we I neglected to talk about, or anything else you want to add?
Yeah. Well, my YouTube channel and my content, I'm trying to put out a lot more content and stuff like that. Just more valuable content for everybody. We do have a weekly show. Just go to my YouTube channel, RJ Martinez, and then just go ahead and subscribe to it. You guys can also find me on Instagram at RJ Hustles. And then, of course, you have all the information down below in the description. It's my blog. You can go check that out. Don't judge it yet. I'm still working on it. It's getting better. You know what I mean? I love when it's always at the beginning, man. The beginning, it's like you don't have nothing. But then when you start seeing progress and you start seeing stuff like interaction, you start seeing people coming to your blog and viewing it daily, stuff like that. That's a big thing for me. And same thing with anything else too. Like I remember when my YouTube channel only had 100 subscribers, and now I'm just growing, trying to get to that 10K. I'm gonna get there. I'm not sure when, but I'll get there. You know what I mean? Just a matter of time. So I'm really not trying to think about it that way, but I do wake up thinking about it, and it's on my mind. But you know what I mean? Because you're going to get there in time as long as you keep on providing good content. And so I'm growing, and learning. And you guys can see, like, you guys go back to my first video, you can see that, like, kind of like the progress I've made. So that's something kind of just documenting that journey too. That's pretty cool. And then we also too have the Facebook group too. It's a fairly big Facebook group, over 20,000 people, 20,000 members in there. But I do kind of stay active in there pretty much every day. It's Merch by Amazon Masterminds. If you go on there, it's a pretty cool group. Do post stuff in there probably weekly. Just help people out. There's people in there that are actually crushing it, and they just stay active in that group. Like they appreciate that the content that I provided for them to help them scale their business. Now they're helping me like daily, like helping others out too as well. So you kind of just build, you're connecting with other people and just building everything up. So that's pretty cool, So yeah, that's pretty much about it right there. So.
Okay, awesome. So everyone who's still in here, go follow RJ, and if you're up for it, I noticed I've been kind of tracking the comments, and everyone's been enjoying the show. A number of people have said you're their kind of favorite online hustler guy. So I'd love to have you back on sometime. I was thinking about having me, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Thrift Shop Hustler from YouTube. He's a merch and eBay guy, but me and him been meaning to circle back. So I don't know if you'd be interested in maybe joining us sometime in the coming weeks, but I'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think I met him in person. We met each other. We went out to dinner one time. We're all there talking and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, he's out in California, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm always welcome. I'm always down to actually come on.
You're always welcome too, yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming on. I've been wanting to connect with you for a while, and yes, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I appreciate you coming on. I think people really enjoyed it. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know. Also too, we can get you on the show too as well, and kind of just kind of connect with our audience too as well over there. I'm pretty sure they'll love to have you on. We'll love to have you on too.
I'd love to do that. I'm grinding it out, trying to get to this 100,000. It's at this point, man. It's come to a slow crawl. So I figure if I put myself out there, maybe kind of up the growth a little bit. But yeah, again, thank you everybody. I appreciate all of you guys joining me, and thank you for the support and everything. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll have RJ back on soon. So hopefully you guys can join us again.
Okay. All right, thank you guys. Thank you.